What's the deal, everybody? It is C. Will back here with another race reaction. It's the first one we've had in a while, and today we're going to be watching the Miller High Life 400 at the Richmond Fairgrounds 1985. And joining me alongside this reaction, we got Mike.
Hello.
And my good friend Sean.
How y'all doing?
And this is Sean's first appearance on a race reaction. He's been in a couple videos of mine in the past, but this is his first time doing a race reaction with him and Mike. So this is definitely going to be an interesting race. This was the second race on the 1985 season. What are some of y'all's expectations and your predictions for the race today?
Actual good racing is really my expectation for this because Richmond sucks now.
Yeah, I'd like to see, because, 85 had a good amount of characters, and a lot of the rule changes were different, so to speak. No pit lane speeds, so pit stops would have really been a big difference, and no race to the caution, so that's going to be a big factor on accidents and trying to get through, like the big ones or anything of that sort that tries to happen. So, yeah, I think it's going to be really interesting compared to nowadays. I know that for sure.
Definitely, as you see right there on the screen of the Skull Bandit team, I think that's Harry Gant's crew. Who do y'all have winning this race, and what is some other expectations you may have in regarding the racing?
I would like to look at the lineup before I make my pick.
Yeah, that's fair.
Fair point. Well, now as you see Vinnie Parsons on the screen, we'll see a little bit of the pre-race.
Driver is now going to become more critical than ever. Last week, tire changing was automatic. If the race car wasn't handling properly, four tires, adjusted the chassis a couple of times, and the driver could count on having pretty close to the proper
Looks
setting.
like there's a field of maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Now, which side is changing?
Probably about 36 cars. That's an interesting one, the Bullfrog.
Fresh right sides tend to make the car push it or not turn as well in the turns.
Bill Elliott, who won the 500.
Turns. Left side tires make the car loose. Loose means the car is trying to spin out in the turns. Now we also have a whole new set of possibilities. What happens if you change one front and a rear on the other side? Dave, we may find out today about this. We'll sure be watching. And now
the Goodyear tires.
A meet pleasure to introduce to you the voice of motorsports, Ken Squire.
Well, thank you very much, Benny. There's a lot more up in the wind today. This track is different. Back on November 15th, 84, promoter Paul Sawyer decided to put a sealer on this track, an oil sealer, but he added one element, a rubber base that would make for better adhesion. Now, does it work? Let me tell you, it works. 9 cars, and it could have been 10, broke the track record in qualifying.
Oh, wow, track record broke.
95.218 miles per hour is the new mark, 93 the old. Darrell Waltrip's still there. But Bodine and Bonnet and Earnhardt and Allison and Wallace and Gant and Bouchard and Labonte, they also broke the record.
It showed the inside lanes was Waltrip and Bonnet 1 and 2 there.
There was one other car that could have broken that record. That was the car that won the race a year ago. The Bud Moore car, number 15. The driver, Ricky Rudd. Just too much going into turn number 2.
Oh.
Collected the wall in turn number 2 and had to come back and attempt qualifying the next day.
Huh.
So, Ricky Rudd will be starting 21st on the grid today, and with him right now is Glenn Jones.
Oh, that could have been worse, though.
Thank you, Ken Squire. Ricky, in last year's race, a little different situation. You started on the second row, went on to win the race. What do you feel like your strategy is going to have to be today, starting from 21st position?
Well, I'm just going to have to get up front in a hurry. The car is running awfully good. We had a good
Yeah,
opportunity.
Rudd won the 84 Richmond race, which was not long after the Daytona when he in the Busch clash when he went flipping down the front stretch.
In the early going to the race.
Do you feel like that the tire rule, the new tire rule, is going to affect your strategy?
Well, it's going to be interesting. The most thing that I have to worry about is the top of the racetrack. It's got the asphalt sealer on it.
Gotcha.
Success has come pretty much in the past here from running the high side of the racetrack, so that's going to be a pretty big concern with me.
Okay, thank you very much, Ricky Rudd, and good luck.
Looks like they're doing some more interviews, so we're just going to skip ahead. Let's skip ahead. Let's skip ahead to 10 minutes. The 10-minute mark. Yeah, even. That's when they start the lineup, starting lineup. Waltrip on the front row. Waltrip was really good at Richmond back in the 80s.
Yeah, that Richmond and
Dale.
My man.
Mike, did you know Sean has a tattoo of Dale Earnhardt?
I got two now.
I did not know that. That is really cool.
Wallace and Ron Bouchard starring in row 4.
I think I'm gonna go with Darrell Waltrip for this race. And if not him, then Bill Elliott.
There's Kyle Petty won in '86, then Lake Speed and Richard.
I don't know. I would probably have to say either Waltrip or maybe Earnhardt. You never know because short tracks he did really good at, especially in the 80s and early 90s.
I'm gonna go with. There's Ronnie Thomas.
Ronnie Thomas.
Good friend there. There's Buddy Baker and Hill.
Bobby Hillin Jr.
I'm gonna say. I want to go with either Gant.
Oh, look, it's Kenny Troy.
I'm thinking either Gant or Waltrip. So I'm gonna go with Waltrip.
So we all basically have Waltrip.
Yeah. Oh, we got it.
But he's not that bad of a driver. He just was very unlucky.
We're going
400 live on Superstation WTBS with David Spain, Jerry Garrett, Len Jarrett, I'm Ken Squire, and the race is underway into turn 1. Jumping out in front on the start. It's number 11, Waltrip for the lead.
And we'll see. We reacted to Richmond races from the 90s and 2000s. So we'll see how the 80s fare out. We'll see the differences between the Richmond then and then the 90s and 2000s. There definitely was a difference, obviously, because of the track.
Bouncing off the wall. Rick Newsom's number 20.
Oh, we already got him spin.
Rick Newsom in the very first lap, Benny, didn't even get it into the third turn.
Didn't even get past the first lap. Looks like the
It was
right rear
Rick
tire is
Newsom.
and possibly going in the third corner.
I literally know where Lake Riley is. That's not far from where I grew up.
He did a cartwheel on top of that fence.
Huh. Okay.
Flag is out.
One lap down, out of 400. They're coming around to complete 2 this time. With Darrell
Well, that didn't last long, did it?
Winner here has sat on the pole 3 straight times for this event. Darrell was saying before the race, he said, you know, the new surface, the sealer, makes the track faster, but doesn't take out any of the bumps.
It doesn't take any of the bumps. All they do is just preserve the asphalt that's there.
Why do you pick him every week, Mike?
I think that 200 laps into this race, that the surface is going to get slick.
Oh, man, well, to be fair, Logano has won at Richmond before.
Well, if it gets to be that, they'll look like champions in a log rolling contest out at this half-mile track, trying to stay up on it because it gets very slippery.
Ken, this racetrack, the changes in this racetrack, as we watch Rick Newsom's car limping toward pit road, are a very great part of the tradition. Of
well, in 80,
it's a very mysterious
and whenever they had the last
like
race before the new layout, it was like 88. So I don't know if they repaved the track before then. They could have, but I don't know that. I'd have to look that up.
By 2 things. One is the new sealer. Nobody knows how it's going to hold up. As Benny said, it may very well change during the course of the race, and the line will move. And secondly is that tire rule that we're going to hear so much about today. Too early on this yellow flag to have any real strategy decisions, but you can bet those pit crews are going to have their busiest afternoon of the 1985 season right here.
He's got a flat.
The one thing I noticed interesting on the first lap, Ken, off the fourth corner, Dale Earnhardt.
He probably spun out and it caused the flat.
And if it's that bad on the first lap, we're going to have a lot of problems before the day's over.
Well, I don't think we have a replay, to be honest.
Oh, Chevrolets.
There's the Wrangler 3 of Dale Earnhardt.
If it gets slippery, we'll grind you down before it's over. Now there's the 3 car. The trouble out of the 4th turn. Dale Earnhardt had it sideways and gathered it back up to stay.
You know what I was finding? So I had to buy a parking pass for the weekend at North Wilkesboro, and there was some that was absolutely outrageous. Guess how much money I paid for a weekend parking pass?
Oh, there's the stuff they put on to absorb it. I think it's compound maybe at the moment, but I'm probably thinking that because it's a different color. But yeah, speaking of picks for the win, I'm going Earnhardt
Yeah, it's not a bad pick. I mean, he was really good at Bristol in '85. I know he won. He's won at Richmond a couple times in his career, and at Wilkesboro. But going back to what I was saying about the parking, so some of the parking spaces at Wilkesboro were like a couple miles away, and then there's some that was closer. The ones closer to the track were hundreds of dollars, and the one that I chose was 3 miles away. Guess how much I had to pay for that?
20
For a weekend pass?
for yeah, like 170.
No, not far off, but no, it was like 85 for 3 miles away, and you have to take a shuttle. But there was other parking. There was other parking that was closer to track that was like 100 and 200 or so dollars for the weekend. I ain't doing that. I already paid hundreds of dollars for the tickets in the first place. You know what I mean?
85?
Yeah, it was about like 85 or something like that.
That's not that bad.
I know, but still, you don't pay that much money for parking at Charlotte and stuff.
Like I mentioned on the podcast.
Yeah.
I'm just saying 85 if you had to pay something that's not that horrible.
Yeah.
And in second, Bonnet in third.
Driver needs Bonnet there.
As they approach turn one. In the fifth spot, Bobby Allison, followed by the number 2, Rusty Wallace, rookie of the year last year. Next, and then comes Harry Gant. Everybody kind of feeling it out here in the early going.
This has got to be the best start that Rusty Wallace.
I like that camera angle.
I think
Both of these cameras.
in this field, that Richmond Fairgrounds Raceway started 6th. Mighty good accomplishment.
They're trying to get a shot at moving up through is Ricky Rudd in the early going. We're back with the leader, Darrell Waltrip, as he approaches turn number 3. He gets about a 3-car length jump. And there you see car number 15 trying to close in on Butch Lindley with a new team this year. Ricky Rudd, number 15, last year's winner, having to fight his way out of the back in the Bud Moore Ford. He's already jumped by Baker on that restart. Picked up 1 as he continues to work on the tail end of Butch Lindley's car.
Bonnet's in the 12. I have to go back and see later who's in the 16, but
Trying to plow his way through traffic and find himself someplace to go. You see Marcus, number 71, the blue car, just in front of Lindley. Onto the outside goes Ricky Rudd, where he crashed, attempting to qualify. Here we are with Butch Lindley, and here comes Ricky Rudd, still trying to move through in this very tight half-mile track. 40 feet wide on the front straightaway, 60 feet wide on the back stretch. It's only about 660 feet long. Whoa, a little slide there by Lindley, and trying to go down the inside. Right there, taking the spot down to the bottom.
that's what you had to do in Richmond, though, back then at the Fairgrounds. You had to force your way into the corners sometimes because the inside lane's the way to go here. You don't want to get stuck on the outside lane. I remember watching a race from '88 not that long ago, and just everyone on the outside lane was just couldn't get anywhere. You couldn't pass up there. And when you lose the inside lane, especially on the research, you're losing 5-6 spots.
Running in second, and right behind him comes Bonnet, lurking in third.
I think that Bodine is strong.
Spinner, number 4, Ronnie Thomas.
That's Ronnie Thomas.
Ronnie Thomas, back straightaway from Christiansburg, Virginia. Loops number 41. Glenn Jarrett drove that car a week ago down on the road for us today. Number 41 coming to a halt. Apparently he's going to be able to pick it up and keep on trucking here.
Yeah, that's my good friend Ronnie Thomas, who was the 1978 Rookie of the Year in NASCAR, and his father, Jabe Thomas, had a very solid career as an independent driver. He did get plenty of top 10s in his career, Jabe Thomas did, and finished top 5 in points, I think, once or twice.
Get that car to handle and set that new record by 2 miles an hour, and I think anybody here.
I was surprised. I really was. I thought Jeff Bodine
So 2 early cautions here.
Dominate the short racetracks, but
this could be a wreck fest. We'll see.
And he was leaving Jeff Bodine, but as I started to say, I think that Bodine's strong suit is going to be the last lap of the race in the first half.
Let's go to Jerry Garrett.
Rick Newsom, you're involved in the crash there at the start of the race. What happened? I think the locker broke in the rear end. It just jumped sideways when I got out of the throttle going in the corner over there. Can you repair the car and get it out there? I don't think so. It's bent pretty bad up underneath. It got up on top of the guardrail and bent the trailing arms and stuff on it, so I don't think we're going to get it fixed.
Okay, 1 car already. And on pit road is pitting too. Baker, number 88, is on pit road. Remember, he
Oh, the
did a
88
great job
car's
at
on pit
Daytona
road
last
too.
week. Coming out, and the Baker car still on pit road. Let's see if he'll go a lap down. They're still working on Baker's car. Here's 41 coming on the track. Now 88 is pulling on the track. And Baker comes back on, does not lose a lap. One more lap and they'll turn him loose.
I can't imagine what his problem was. They took the hood look under there and someone got
Yeah, I've never seen this 88 Bullfrog scheme before.
the car. And you're right. Last week at Daytona, a super job by Buddy Baker.
Because Kyle Petty's made up some spots, it seems. So is Elliott. Rudd's trying to work his way back up there, or since he started 21st, trying to work his way up. They should be going green next time.
Is out there with a 2.5-year-old race car. He says on paper the engineers can build a car that's 10 miles an hour faster. We take this baby to the racetrack and week in, week out, it's the best horse out there. The lead car, Darrell Waltrip, dominant in the early running. Remember, he led 365 laps of this race a year ago, and then they ran out of tires. But didn't bring enough tires to the racetrack.
Well, obviously, like some of the older stock cars on the track, which there is a possibility. I know they're doing that for some tracks, including Darlington this year. But maybe some of that, obviously, some old signs and merchandise. You know, I don't want there to be any like video boards or anything like that. Even though that's probably what's going to happen. But who knows? We'll see. They're still working on the track and the facility.
Working on nothing but their short track program in an effort. Here's Baker pulling back on the road. Something really amiss on Buddy Baker's car.
The car seemed to be running awfully slow when it come in the pits. It looked like it didn't have all of its power.
Glenn Jarrett, what's happening down there?
Check with Robert Ranks, the crew chief on that car. He does have an ignition problem. Buddy Baker does have an ignition problem with the car.
He comes out and immediately
Good.
goes another lap down. A battle up in front. Battle is for second place. Bodine is there. But definitely the car that seems to have the horses that can tap into the back all the time is the Bonnet car, and with it comes Earnhardt. And they're willing to spare nothing in these races. They will use up the side of those cars like Bonnet, sticking his nose down inside of Bodine on these half miles. This is just about an easy ride for them as compared to those 200-mile-an-hour dangerous trips of a week ago.
Neil Bonnet's car, the 12 car, is a sister car to the 11 of Darrell Waltrip. So basically, they ought to be fairly equal. And I think that if Neil Bonnet could get by Jeff Bodine, he would be able to run right with Darrell Waltrip.
Ricky Rudd is trying to do some running out of the back of the pack on the 71 Marcus. Meanwhile, right back here at second position again. And look at Bonnet skirting the inside, trying to find some running room down to the bottom. He gets a little more fight on the inside. There's car number 15 getting around the Marcus car. 71. Now here's Dave Marcus right back in there again. And Butch Willie, that was a good three-way battle further back in the field as they fight for the 15th position overall. And right now that position goes to number 15, Rudd, who had started 21st today.
Dave Marcus is not going to let Butch Willie have anything easy. That Butch Willie car is a brand new team. This is the first race for that team.
12-car length advantage as Waltrip continues to pull away. He is about to put a lap on car number 67. One of the new runners, Phil Good, driving the Chrysler product, has the Buddy Eric.
And for those watching the stream right now, thank y'all so much for tuning in. Of course, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, make sure to follow Sean and Mike. Their accounts are in the description below if you're watching this on YouTube. So now you see, I think Butch Lindley is in that 16 car, and behind him, if I'm correct, is Dave Marcus in the 71. So right now, as we see, a lot of single file action, not a lot of passing at the moment. What is some of y'all's thoughts about the racing so far?
I don't know. Something happened to the ignition. I don't really know. It just quit running down straightaways.
I think Coda was okay. It was okay after you come back and watch it.
The alternator's dead and the battery's dead. Team's still working on it.
Is building early.
Mid.
Number 15 51. That is the Greg Sykes car. Greg is not here after that great run he made at Daytona a week ago.
Yeah, Walter's going away to a big lead right now. We all had Walter except for Sean, so we'll see.
And now look at that interval as Waltrip in number 11 goes for his third Richmond 400 win.
Could be a possibility. And Bonnet just can't seem to get by Bodine, and it's causing a jam up between him and Earnhardt here. He can't get by Bodine, and that's allowed. It seems it's allowed Bobby Alston to close in as well.
Having picked up one spot from the start in 12th position, number 9, Bill Elliott. Then comes Tim Richmond in 13th. Running 14th is Richard Petty, pretty much by himself. And 10 car lengths behind Petty is number 15, Ricky Rudd, who's knocked off 6 spots. We are now 30 laps into the race.
That's Alston.
Second spot. Great battle here, but it is the race for second spot that Bodine and Bonnet and the rest.
Yeah, people forget that. Yeah, people forget Alston. One of his 22 schemes was had white on the sides.
Early runner. Nobody knows how to prepare a short track car like Junior Johnson. That number 12, the Neil Bonnet machine, as Benny mentioned, a sister car. As he makes a run and gets himself sideways and will fall from second to fourth.
Yeah, you saw that there. Bonnet tried to get a run on Jeff and got loose, and now Earnhardt passed him.
The point here, Junior Johnson knows how to make short track cars. His cars are running first and fourth.
Bodine simply not willing to give up anything on an inside. He wasn't going to
Bodine and Earnhardt, they had plenty of run-ins throughout the 80s.
On the bottom, and you saw the result of that puts Earnhardt in the number 3. Here is Dale Earnhardt working away up into the 3rd spot. And back in the 4th position now is Neil Bonnet with Bobby Allison. Joel Pedagogue running in the 5th spot. Let's see if Earnhardt can make a move.
Well, we watched the Riverside. Yeah. 87 Riverside, Bodine and Earnhardt had a great battle.
He's used to this short track business, and in these kind of wars, he will not let you through if there's any way to stop. Look at Earnhardt. Bang away on him here.
He pushed him just a little bit to make sure he realized he was back there and, in fact, outrunning him through the turns.
You're watching it live. There on the inside goes Earnhardt, number 3. And there you got a couple of half-mile warriors
got
each other over. And it is Dale Earnhardt down the inside. He's never won this race, but
yeah.
He's close. A couple of years ago in the second-place finisher. Now he's up there in second spot and goes looking for Walter. One of the things about Walter is although they didn't make many spring adjustments, they changed those new gas-filled shocks consistently, time after time, in trying to qualify and break that record, and then break it they really did.
Well, that's a new innovation, the gas-filled shocks, and who knows what it really takes to use at Richmond, which shocks are really the ones that are the best. Walter is pulling away right now.
Yesterday on Motor Weekend, my pick to win this race was that man, Dale Earnhardt, and the reason is the move you just saw him put on Jeff Bodine. I don't think there's a driver in the business who tackles the short track more aggressively than does that man. Meanwhile, Neil Bonnet back here in the thicket. Here is Bill Elliott hooked up with number 44. That's your Grand National champion, Terry Labonte.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
10th position right there. Terry Labonte, number 44. Lake Speed at number 75. Runs right with him in the 11th position, and they're having their own go at it. And then you see Bill Elliott now running at 12th. He's picked up one spot as they continue to do the bump and run here. As you see it live on Superstation WTBS, race number 2 in the $10 million plus series, the Winston Cup Series for 19. And here's Elliott down on the inside for 1985. This is where the racing began in Grand National, and in Richmond, Virginia, a sellout crowd, biggest in history, is enjoying this great competition. Now there you see Labonte, the 44 car, then Lake Speed in 75, who had that brilliant second place.
And Waltrip was pretty solid in the 500 that year, but Elliott was obviously the class of the field. Same as Yarborough was also.
Waltrip continues to draw away. Boy, he is consistent on these laps. Every lap just as methodical as the one before.
But Dale Earnhardt is gaining. Earnhardt is really coming in. We got that car sideways on the first lap. I said he is in a lot of trouble. But right now, everybody else is in trouble.
So you see the view into turn number 1. There are 40 laps.
No, that was 87.
There's your leader. Now you're back with car number
85,
11.
Elliott won a lot of races. He won a lot of times. 500, Southern 500. I think he won the 600 too. But Elliott won a lot of the big races in 85. But Waltrip won a lot also, and he was able to beat him in points.
Very unusual that Bodine is this bad
of fourth moves number 22, Allison. In fifth is number 5,
Yeah.
Bodine. In sixth is number 33, Gant. You really don't want to show too much this early, do you?
Well, not really. This racetrack historically really ran well early on. The last 200 laps, he was not that good. But who knows with the sealer? Again, one of the mysteries that Dave Despain talked about early on in the show.
The tire rule will come into play much later.
87, I think.
We'll be back with more.
Yeah, Waltrip's on the 11th, Virginia. Johnson, and I know Labonte went into the 11 around 87 or 88 because Waltrip ended up driving the 17 car in 87. But I may be wrong. It's either 87 or 88. Went to the 17.
The guy who's hauling is Darrell Waltrip. The action is all up front where Waltrip has pulled away from an early battle among Dale Earnhardt, Neil Bonnett, Bobby Allison, and a bit of a fading Jeff Bodine. Let's pick up the on-track action now as Waltrip shows the way in the Richmond 400. Coming up on 50 laps complete of the 400.
Next thing,
Whopper, Junior, Whopper.
Number 3 car running in second. Bonnett is third. Bobby Allison fourth. Bodine in fifth. Gann in sixth. Kyle Petty is seventh. Rusty Wallace eighth. Ron Bouchard is running in the ninth position. Terry Labonte in 10th. Lake Speed is running 11th. Bill Elliott is running in the 12th position. 13th is Richmond. 14th is Petty. 15th is Ricky Rudd. And 16th right now is Brooks Lindley. Waltrip drawing away. Taking a look here at car number 48. The Jane Tilton car with Lenny Pond at the controls. There you see number 9. Bill Elliott still screaming through cars as he makes his way up through traffic. He and Lake Speed are switching positions. 11th spot is now Lake Speed, Bill Elliott in 12th.
Bill Elliott's been trying everything he possibly could to get by Lake Speed. He's been under him on the inside. He's been outside of him, but still he's behind.
You know, it takes just one good race to turn a driver around. And he says,
So I was happy about that.
oh, there's a slow car there on the bottom. That's the 88.
Speed had that great display last week. Although attrition was high, he knows he can finish up there in second place. And he is the former World Karting champion. Won that championship at Le Mans.
Former World. Didn't know that.
Leading Bill Elliott, the man who won the Daytona. There's Elliott.
Bill Elliott's so loose off the corners.
Good battle. That is 11th place that you're watching here in our live coverage on Superstation WTBS.
It just is 3 and 4. He's trying to get underneath, and he's just not able to. And it's the car sliding up the track. You can see him trying to fight it as hard as he can off the bottom, but it's trying to bounce out from him.
He said again this week, his goal is the national championship, the Winston Cup, and it's $250,000 prize.
Well, Elliott almost had it in 85. He won a lot of races that year, but you'd have to wait till 88.
He's got to have his short track program together.
The camera got faked out there. There's Richmond.
He's challenged here by Tim Richmond. They've got to get their short track car right. He started 13th, and if Richmond gets by, he's going to fall back to 13th. The Daytona winner at this moment is going nowhere.
Lap traffic. Richmond gets held up there. He couldn't make the pass.
To go around Tim Richmond about a lap ago and got absolutely nearly walled going into turn number 3. Now there is the.
Well, we had those 2 early cautions, but we haven't had any stints, so maybe we'll see a long green flag run here. Maybe some green flag pit stops as well.
A couple of spots. That's the battle for 11th. Elliott has it, and there goes Richmond in the 27th on the low side. Richmond finds some daylight even on Elliott, and they hit the back straightaway. Real tussle going on. They pull up with a lap car. Ronnie Thomas becomes a factor here in the 41. The 15 is there. The 43, a little bit of a bottleneck, a little bit of congestion. It could change it all. Ronnie Thomas.
They bumped down that front straightaway. I saw toss tires fall that Richmond almost lost it going into turn 1.
Dandy battle. Now number 9, Bill Elliott picks up that spot. He finds himself 11th. And look at this side by side. Ricky Rudd is going after Tim Richmond on the outside, and the Bud Moore Ford is working well today. New Sealer or no New Sealer, that 15 works this race car. There's Rudd, the Chesapeake, Virginia driver, who won it a year ago. Took Waltrip out of latter moments, trying to contain Ashland.
I didn't mean to rattle his cage, or I meant to rattle his cage.
Canada's Richmond and Rudd have their battle here. Ricky Rudd is very much the hometown favorite. He is from Chesapeake, Virginia, which is
Gotcha.
nearby. And the biggest crowd of the biggest roar from the crowd here in pre-race was for this man, number 15, Ricky Rudd, and perhaps it's reminiscent of a year ago. For Richmond,
Okay.
crash in the Bush Clash. He came here all beat up and battered with both eyes blackened, climbed in that race car, and went out and whipped the best short tracker in America, Darrell Waltrip. He crashed again in qualifying here and started way back in the field. That's why you're watching him right now battling at the tail end of the top 10. But if the crowd picked it, you could bet that man was the front. Ricky Rudd.
That's the battle for 13th position. Number 27 is in 13th. And then it is
Oh, by any chance, Mike, can you check the screen and see if there's any comments? If not, just let me know if there's any comments. So, I know. Okay. We like to do the checkups on the Twitch just to make sure there isn't any foul language. Alrighty, thanks for letting me know.
This battle developing. Earnhardt has come from 20 car lengths back to close to within 6 car lengths as they go down into turn number 3. Earlier we asked Darrell Waltrip about
my Twitch is CWillYT, same name as my Instagram.
We can get back in gas a lot quicker, which means we're going to accelerate off the corner.
Yeah, usually what we do is we'll watch it on Twitch and then upload it to YouTube.
Springs and shocks, sway bars, all those things are more
There we
critical probably
got another nutty. Man, Ronnie Thomas is getting lapped again here. He hasn't had a good race of late. Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, Dale is, and you know, Dale and Waltrip had a great battle in '86, which ended up in. Yeah, dude, we all know what happened there. He ends up turning them in 3, and chaos ensues. Yeah, that's the same race. There was a lot of wrecks in that race too. I remember watching it. I went back and watched it like 3 weeks ago, and there were so many wrecks in that race. And one of them, Bill Elliott was on top of the guardrail at 3 and 4. Yeah, Earnhardt's catching Waltrip here.
As we watch Earnhardt rip around this racetrack, keep a note of the fact that he is really pitching that car into the corner. He's driving this thing like it was a dirt track, following in the footsteps of his father, who was one of the great dirt short trackers of all time. Up on the outside, he's hurling the car into the corner, and that means he's using up an awful lot of tire. But the thing to remember about Earnhardt is he's one of the fastest drivers in the field when those tires get hot, when the car gets loose and wants to slip and slide around. As he chases Darrell Waltrip, he is really on the gas, driving it like a sprint car.
11 Grand National wins, and look at this battle. And Ricky Rudd goes up the outside on Tim Richmond in the 27, and Richmond finds a hole on Lake Speed down low. The red and yellow car, number 56.
Oh wow, 3 wide.
Good car, number 67, it just barely gets through.
I didn't think there was room for 3 cars on the back straightaway, but they proved there is. Richmond's going to get the spot. I think
Bobby Hillin Jr.'s just in front of them in the 8 car.
Battle for 12th on the inside.
There's the King, Richard Petty. Ricky Rudd's just trying to stay on the outside lane here. He's not having much success getting by anybody, but he's holding his ground. They're about to get lapped, so positions around position 15 is going to lap down.
Still sustaining its second spot as they lap Marcus. Let's go back to that battle. There you see number 27, Richmond in the 12th position. And here's Richard Petty getting beneath Ricky Rudd, the number 43, that most familiar.
Richard Petty won a lot at Richmond in the 70s.
Bobby Hillin coming out of turn 4.
This is the kind of racetrack that Richard Petty over the years personally has been so strong on. A slick, short racetrack.
A track that Benny Parsons, working with us, succeeded on, winning here a few years ago in 76. Here's that field again. Look at this battle further back. Number 11, the lead.
Well, I don't know how many there were, but I know that he definitely won a lot of those by a large margin. There was one I think I saw information on. I think he beat Parsons in 74, or either Parsons or Buddy Baker in 74. He won like 6 laps.
Earnhardt is right there. He's right on Darrell's bumper.
Nowadays, that would just be impossible. And especially with the racing now, it just wouldn't ever happen. And the cautions and the free passes and all that.
You run good at Daytona, you come back to here, and
you know, you can relax. All the pressure ain't on here that like they are at Daytona. You can really get down and race and enjoy it.
Enjoy it. I'm sure he is as he closes up.
Yeah, he is gaining. You can just see how faster he is than Waltrip.
About 110, 115 to there beneath that starter's flag. Here they are back into turn number 1.
This has been a very impressive run by Dale Earnhardt. As I said, the first lap he got the car sideways, and I keep going back to that, but I can't believe he's running as well as he is right now.
Richard Petty has moved around Lake Speed. Number 43 has picked up a spot. He's gone into 14th, and Lake Speed has dropped to 15th. There you see the tussle once again.
I don't remember that one.
Stays in first. Waltrip there by now 3 car lengths. Still working. Bobby Hill is the number 8. That car is doing well this year.
Bobby Hill is going to be a very good race car driver.
High line by Earnhardt. It doesn't seem to hurt him. He drops maybe a car length there, perhaps a length and a half, but he gains it back, diving down. Now Gant begins to show some strength. Landed, Harry Gant, number 33, pulls up on number 5, Bodine, fighting for 5th.
Harry Gant and Travis Carter over the winter has worked very hard at their short track program, and I think today shows.
Yeah, I remember when I was watching it, Waltrip actually got his car going in that 86s, and he got his car going, and he made it around the track again, but then his car stopped on the backstretch. And people
right here on Superstation WTVS Live.
Yeah, it's turn 3, and he about made it all the way around again. That was such a hard hit too.
Continuing live coverage of the Richmond 400 is being brought to you by Old Milwaukee and Old Milwaukee Light, 2 of America's great tasting.
I've tried Old Milwaukee. It's okay. It's not the best. It's not like Miller High Life.
He cut down the right front, came around half a lap on the rim, sits on pit road. There is a difficulty with our Skoll camera on board that car today.
If Denver, North Carolina's not that far from where I'm at.
On the track, it continues to be Darrell Waltrip's story today. He and Dale Earnhardt running the first and second position. Here you see them, and they're about ready to lap. Car number 43, Richard Petty, running at 14.
Richard Petty's about to go a lap down.
Are now 86 laps complete. Benny Parsons. Take a look at this before we get Benny into the thought you might have. Number 44, Labonte, is being challenged by number 15, Ricky Rudd. That's the 11th place car, number 44, Terry Labonte, and right after him comes that 15 that started back in 21st, and that's about the hardest working guy out there today.
What a phenomenal run from 21st spot. But Ricky Rudd has been trying it high, low. He's been working out the groove.
Sure understands this racetrack. Now there's Richard Petty about to go a lap down. This car number 11 scoots through on the bottom, and here comes number 3, Earnhardt, the second place car. And the King, the man who won more races here than anyone at the Richmond Fairgrounds.
Yeah, I don't get that either, honestly.
These young Turks, number 11, Waltrip, and number 3, Earnhardt, out of turn number 2. Richard won't quite cave in there.
I think Richard Petty found out that the outside groove, if he could just get it working, is getting to be the groove.
Yeah, it's kind of sus, but then again,
to the outside and was looking for a better way around the racetrack. See, there he is on the
well, my thing is, in this situation, was the hood clips are honestly, I don't see how that's a big deal, in my opinion. I mean, it's just such a small miniature thing, but who knows how it could have affected the cars. But to me, it's not that big of a deal. And to have a crew chief suspended for it, the crew chief probably didn't even make those. Oh, we got a car on the wall here. I think that might be Rusty Wallace. But yeah, I don't get how it affect the cars. I don't think it's a big deal. But the crew chief's getting suspended. I don't know. They didn't make the cars, so it is just weird situation. Replay.
Coverage from Richmond, Virginia, the Virginia State Fairgrounds. Here's Rusty Wallace, the Cliff Stewart car number 2. furniture maker from North Carolina. Not going to be too happy with the front end of that.
Yeah, he got.
No, it looked like when he went in the corner that the right front tire was flat or something, but went straight into the fence.
Leaders pitting.
All the leaders are coming in. And which side are they going to change, Ken?
Rusty Wallace's car parked on the outside of 3 and 4 as you see the rest of the field motor on by. All the leaders on pit road. An opportunity for back markers to collect time here on this racetrack in this half mile. You can get a lap back. Waltrip's car in and out. Number 11.
Oh! Crash on pit road. Terry Labonte and Dale Earnhardt crashed on pit road.
Just at the exit of pit road. Terry Labonte is the last pit on pit road, that number 44 car. And as he cut across, he collected the Earnhardt car. Try to get a shot of the Earnhardt car and see how much damage it has sustained. I bet there's a lot of extra communication. Number 33, Harry Gant, trying to get off pit road. And take a look at number 3, Earnhardt. The car
damage.
Really got swamped in the front. He pulls up beside Darrell Waltrip. And they talk it over a little as they come down.
It looked like he ran the back of somebody on pit road.
Like on Earnhardt's car, I think the right front fender may be pushed in on the tire.
Whole front end is pushed in just to tickle.
Yes, and you know, Ken, they can only change 2 tires on the car.
Well,
he has changed
that was interesting. And you know, the pit roads then, especially this track was so narrow, you know, you're just bound to get into a pit road incident because of there was no speed limit and just the pit lane was just so crowded, and most of the cars they didn't penalize people for pitting outside the pit box most of the time.
He got collected. Now he's going to come in and pit, and presumably that's a 2-lap.
Not if he doesn't change tires.
If he doesn't change tires, but if he comes in and changes tires, here he is.
Look how fast he's going because he doesn't want to get lapped.
The tire is in fact rubbing the fender.
So the first time the tire rule is put to the test, it looks like it's going to knock the Wrangler car down if they have to change that tire. They're looking to see if they can pull the fender away. Oh, what a bad break for Earnhardt, who gave it such a tremendous run. It makes for great television. I wonder what it does for the fans on the other side of the track, though. For our cameras and so forth, that's interesting. But for a lot of folks sitting around a racetrack that bought a ticket today, you wonder what they're getting out of this tire change. Tire rule change.
Well, we're going to find out because now Dale Earnhardt is going to go to the back of the field, and him going to the front for those ticket payers is going to be very exciting.
They did not change that right front tire because of the new rule. Earnhardt will go.
You don't have official with any of those anymore.
2 laps down. As Benny mentioned, if they changed more than 2 tires, it's a 2-lap penalty. The reason is to conserve the number of tires the team.
But one thing I do miss is some of those signs on the backstretch. Like, you don't see signs on the backstretch hardly anymore at any tracks. Like, you don't see, you know, a Coca-Cola sign on the back unless it's the Coke 600. You don't see Sunoco signs. You don't see, like, the Cup Series logo. You know what I'm saying? It's just odd. Yeah, but, like, I'm just talking about, like, on the backstretch, though.
In Virginia, the first Grand National short track race of the 1985.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, the backstretch, like, more sponsors on the backstretch would be cool.
Crucial new tire rule applying to Winston Cup racing. Only 2 tires can be
But
changed.
Bobby Allison's now in second.
Dale Earnhardt would not give that rule very high marks in its first test. He has damaged the right front of his car in a collision with the Grand National champion, Terry Labonte. He was not able to change that tire for fear of going 2 laps down. We take you back a week to Daytona. Brand rivalry. As part of the story of this game, it was the Ford Zephyrs who ran away with the 200. Here, it's the Chevy short trackers that have shown the strength. Darrell Waltrip has led virtually every lap of this race, and he was challenged by Earnhardt Chevy until he had his problem. Now Earnhardt goes back to the back of the field. We'll see if Waltrip can pull away again as we get set to go back to a green flag.
Bill Parsons, number 17, has come back on the track, as has number 20, the Rick Newsom car. Many laps down, the Parsons machine after he cut down the right front.
This is the first in-car camera of the race, and it's Phil Parsons.
Exactly right. He's going to have him go back in, have the crew check it out.
Coming back on pit road another time is car number 17. They're going to continue to work on it there.
What they were looking for, Ken, they were looking at the toe in or toe out to make sure that it was proper. Evidently it wasn't, because they're jacking up the left side and they're going to make a change over there.
Let's go to Jerry Garrett.
The question, Ken, is how worn were the tires that were on these cars. These are the tires that just came off of Dale Earnhardt's cars. The Goodyear Tire Man says they're about 1/3 worn, which isn't bad, but they wouldn't put them back on the car for another set.
Huh.
98 laps have been completed.
98, so we're about to get 1/4 through the race here.
Bobby Allison is second. Neil Bonnet maintains third. Jeff Bodine is fourth. Tim Richmond fifth. Ricky Rudd sixth. Bill Elliott.
I wonder how Earnhardt's pretty far back, but I wonder how long it would take him to get back up to the front if he were to do so.
Earnhardt is 12th, which Lindley is in the 13th, and they are all shown the lead lap. 1 lap down in 14th is Richard Petty, and Lake Speed is also being shown 1 lap down. Phil Parsons again back on the track.
One thing that we might ought to tell the viewers, Ken, if we talk about the new tire rule and how much it's going to affect, and Jerry Garrett just said from the pits.
Yeah, they're trying to get lined up, but some of the cars just can't figure out which positions they're where. They're having a hard time getting the restart going because they're trying to get everyone positioned.
The racetrack much better than the old cars, the old truck tires.
You can hear Phil Parsons talking to Roger Hamby as they check out car number 17. Talk about the heat there in the car. It's been seen on pit road for some time as he gets
There's still a truck on the track.
There'll be at least another lap as apparently Rusty Wallace dumped a lot of fluid on the track. Benny, you want to talk to your little brother?
In that one instant, it looked like Trevor Boyes in the 48, if he was in the 48, got into Wallace and hooked him into the wall. Parsons back down pit road again here. Kind of odd. Wonder what for.
You were talking about the heat a moment ago. Is the thing running hot?
No, it's running about 195 degrees, and it's
195 degrees is what he said.
Keep adjusting the toe, and they had to change the tie rod in. Is that right?
Gee.
Good luck.
Thank you.
So it's cool you can hear some commentator and driver radio communication back and forth, which wasn't very common back then, but it was one of the first times they used it.
Waltrip has dominated as he did a year ago, only to lose it in the waning moments of the
Yep.
event to a hard-charging Ricky Rudd and Bud Moore car. Will it happen again? Begin to bunch him up. Lap cars fall to the inside. The first one to drop down on the inside.
Yep.
Car right behind him comes
We'll probably go back green, I think, this coming lap. Average speed only 68 miles per hour.
Average speed is dropping even down to 68.343 reading here on a 100 lap rundown. As caution.
Yeah, Petty went a lap down, so he's going to try to get back on a lead lap on this restart. It's on the inside lane.
There you see the fast runners on the outside of the track, lap cars on the bottom of the track as they get set for a start. Did you ever wish you had the bottom side running the high side of these restarts?
No, because the bottom side means you're 1 lap down.
But if they switched it over and let the lap cars go on the outside?
Well, that would be better, yes. The fast cars need to be on the inside because that's where the groove is. But it would be strange to do it only if this.
Here we go. At green.
Car number 11, Waltrip springs the lead. Bobby Allison comes after him. Bob running third. A few battle scars on car number 5, Bodine's car, back and forth as you watch in the first turn. And again, Waltrip leaps out in front. Going for the advantage. There you see the Lindley car.
Yeah, Butch Lindley, I think, there got in front of Allison, who's running in second. Now Allison's going to try to get underneath them and pass them going into 1.
Lindley's new team, and he's drawing himself through. Bobby Allison into second place. He and his wife Judy celebrated.
There's Bonnet, too. Bonnet's trying to go for second.
Had a big night at the Bright Star Cafe down there in Hueytown, Alabama. Gave her 25 roses, one for every year she's put up with. That's according to Allison.
Now Benny seems to be having some problem back in the field. We'll have to keep an eye on him and report to you later.
Yeah, Jeff Bodine's, even though he's been in the top 5 and 10, he just hasn't been able to pass anybody, really, and he's been getting stuck in the outside lane.
Second place. As they take that third and fourth turn, Allison.
Waltrip's just running away again on this restart.
Followed by the fourth place man, Jeff Bodine, Tim Richmond, and Ricky Rudd is charging. Rudd is up behind Tim Richmond, giving a real tussle. Here's Neil Bonnet, bottom side. This is almost a replay of a year ago when the 11 and 12 car ran in tandem for about 150, 200 laps here. Allison, the spoiler on that deal right now, as he stays in there and keeps that die guard, number 22 in the thick of things. The car sponsor and the race sponsor.
He's probably back in like 15th or something like that, 15th, 14th, because Petty was running around that spot when he got lapped.
And one of their own races, and he wants this car to really click today. He's He's up there in second spot. Bonnet stays right with him. We asked Bobby Allison earlier how he liked this Richmond half mile.
Well, Richmond's one of my favorite places. It's a very unusual track, a tough place, very, very tight, flat, or very little banking. It feels flat, or at least tipped to the outside when you're racing around the place.
Oh, one car smoking in the turn one.
Whoa,
Whoa, big crash. Petty up and into the guardrail. That's Terry Labonte and Ricky Rudd. Huh. Did see that coming. Oh, wow. Man, all of a sudden we just see Petty on top of the guardrail. That was out of nowhere. I saw a car smoking, but I didn't think it was going to be a wreck.
In major problems, a big plume of smoke as the car went into turn one, and it looks like his hopes have departed right here in the 109th lap. On to pit road news number 44. Here's Terry Labonte.
Yeah, Labonte got a lot of damage on that left side.
Pit road. Pace car moving up. 110 laps complete as they come by this time. Misfortune.
He looks like he is pretty serious damage there, Ken.
Dale Inman down in front. Looks like a wrestler, and you can see the anger and frustration on Dale Inman wanting to get this. Here comes a group of the leaders on pit road.
I met Dale Inman a couple months ago. No, yeah, Sean, didn't we meet Dale Inman at the Van and Moore's game in December?
Here's Waltrip coming out. We'll have a chance
Yeah, we did. Huh.
And what happened in turn one?
There's a replay.
See the cars coming to the first turn.
Oh, run.
Car number 15 just flat goes away, gets caught in his own oil right here. Takes the outside wall. Pet gets in the oil, no place to go. Terry Labonte nearly went underneath the 43.
Oh, terrible, terrible looking crash.
Lucky is Earnhardt. Watch again.
Ricky Rudd, he's trying to save the car, but the oil, there's nothing
Well,
he can do.
Petty got stuck in the oil and it drifted him up high and he couldn't steer it back to the left.
Actually, the 44 draws just about
Huh. Well, that impact Petty had could have been really much worse. It looked a little bit like his 80 Pocono wreck where he went high and hit the wall in the right front and got up in the air. It wasn't obviously as bad as that Pocono wreck, but you know, he did get some air and the car went in at a similar angle. But yeah, Rudd, all them guys, definitely that could be their race.
A quick one as Ricky Rudd has his engine disintegrate going into the first turn. Let's look at it one more time. It's not too far from where he had trouble in qualifying.
This is a beautiful one. It's not good for Ricky Rudd or Richard Petty, but for the viewers at home.
Oh, you mean 76ers?
Ricky trying to save the car. He's got the car turned to the right, but the car goes in, hits not too hard, but Richard Petty up on top of the car. Now it comes down, the gas tank hits the outside retaining wall. It's a wonder that he didn't spill gasoline on the racetrack.
Three great favorites in our live coverage.
Earnhardt just barely got through the crash.
Real trouble. Richard Petty, number 43, on the hook. The new Gurney engine doesn't get much of a chance to show itself or demonstrate too much here at Richmond today. Richard Petty being brought in.
Well, Labonte got loose too because of the oil, and he ended up sliding into Petty after Petty broke the
about 10
guardrail.
years ago, we saw that shot that Richard Petty got up on top.
That's where his damage came from.
10 years ago, coming on.
He's just there chilling. I know there's probably someone that'd be like, well, if that was Bubba Wallace, he would have gotten out of the car, pitched a fit, and threw his helmet.
Doesn't appear to be the case today for Richard.
Incoming Bubba jokes.
Back with more from the Virginia State Fairgrounds, live on Superstation WTS, the Richmond 400.
How's Tim Richmond second now? Huh. And now it's fourth.
Fairgrounds Raceway for the Richmond 400. Richard Petty just took a wild ride. What happened? Well, Ricky blew it. I was right on his bumper, and when he dumped all the oil and stuff out, I turned. It didn't do no good. I just followed him right up to the wall and got up on top of the wall and beat fast. Tore my race car up. They were looking inside your car. What happened there when you hit? Well, when the thing caught on fire and there wasn't nobody down there with no fire extinguisher. So I was running around looking for a fire extinguisher. It finally went out, but Anyhow, I just tore his arm pretty bad.
So Petty won 6 times in the spring Richmond race and 7 times in the autumn/fall Richmond race.
Expired with a blown engine. Back here about 5 laps to go.
For a grand total of 13.
Right now with 400.
Looks like we're about to go green here.
Distance to be covered in the Richmond 400. Our live coverage today on Superstation WCS
Or not.
of the second event of 1985.
And Earnhardt's still really far back.
Cup Tour, the Richmond 400, now 116 laps complete. 1 lap before they turn them loose at the STP Pit Center. Here's Dave Despay.
One man's misfortune is another man's good fortune. Bobby Allison pits while Richard Petty is in the pits.
Elliott Bonnet lost spots, so did Bodine.
Right side tires have helped him pick up a half-second a lap, and he's going to be the lead car when we go green. The attrition has taken out Cecil Gordon, Buddy Baker, Rusty Wallace, and Ricky Rudd with a blown motor. Terry Labonte, also involved in that incident, is back out on the racetrack, and Richard Petty is not showing up here because the STP car, well, they're going to try to fix it and see if they can get it back in this race. He's won it 13 times, more than any other driver in history here in Richmond. And this guy, Bobby Allison, is second.
And they're having a hard time getting things sorted here. Looks like they're about to go green, though.
In that second position, Harry Gant in third. Allison has won this early race in the season twice. But of course, he's
like
some others
earlier in the afternoon.
Run on this track. Now, Waltrip is back in
1 o'clock.
Restart. Waltrip is in 6th. On in 5th. Elliott 4th. Gant 3rd. Richmond 2nd. Allison 1st. As they scoot into turn number 1.
Tim Richmond is on the outside.
That's Richmond going for the lead.
Blowing right by Bobby Allison on the outside.
Hold the phone. Here they are in turn number 3. Ooh, Lake Speed comes out high on Harry Gant. Oh, my heart.
Yeah.
Scrape up the finish.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Bobby Allison has some type of problem. I don't know exactly what it is, but he has some type of problem.
Allison fading back. Now the second place man is Harry Gant, number 33. You see the bandit scooting through. Lead car is number 27. First place car, Tim Richmond.
Allison is coming down pit road.
Bobby Allison comes in. The third place car on the race.
Bro, did you see Bobby Allison, how slow he was on that restart? Now he's in pit road.
On pit road with number 22.
This could cost him here because you lose laps on pit road at the Fairgrounds. Gant's now trying to get the lead from Richmond.
Battle for the lead. Number 27 and 33. Gant collects Richmond in a hurry and goes after him.
Well, Allison's race is probably in. He's going to have a lot to catch up now because he headed under green.
About 6 car lengths back in third behind the lap car.
But yeah, go back to your points, John. Like 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock would be really cool. But then again, with the time schedules and broadcasting, they don't want Western fans to like watch the race at 9 o'clock in the morning. You know what I mean? So they don't do that anymore. But a lot of the races back then started at 12 or 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Fighting to get his lap back, and just behind them, the 12 car is making a real run at Bill Elliott. Just behind those 2 leaders, 27 and 3, and there you see it, and there is number 12. That's Bonnet on the inside, and Neal nails down another spot. He's up to 3rd, and the 9 car, Elliott, falls to 4th.
This is great racing. Darrell Waltrip is having trouble, and everybody is a would-be successor right now.
Now there's Waltrip. And he continues to dwindle back through the field. He is now back in 10th.
Yeah, there's times where I've been at events where I was there basically all day, and then I wouldn't get home to like 12. Like the 600 this past year, I didn't get home till like 12-ish, and then Tucker had to drive another hour and a half back to his house. He didn't get home till like 1:30, and he had stuff in the morning.
They look so stable from outside, but inside you can see them chuck and jive down in those corners.
Anything but able, Kim.
Right on the edge all the time if you want to be in Winston Cup Grand National Racing. The most competitive automobile racing in the world. At Daytona last week, it wasn't that kind of a race. Elliott just ran away, and the Elliott family put themselves into the record book as one of the families of destiny in Grand National Racing. Like the Pettys, like the Wood brothers, like the old Block and Baker families. Look out for those Elliots now lie 4th in this race. Out in front is 27, Tim Richmond. And Raymond Beadle's team. What a surprise they are here. Number 33, we mentioned earlier at the top of the program that the Hal Needham car had really worked hard on their short track program. This looks like it might be a payoff, but it's still early in the going with 125 of 400 complete.
That's actually kind of smart.
On the outside going in turn 3 and on the inside coming off turn 4. He really wants that lead badly.
Yeah, that's pretty smart though, for real.
Now, he can run the top and he can run the bottom. We've talked about the combination of Richmond, having the chassis and the tires set up properly to run the fast line around the racetrack. And that combination changes all day long. When you got it, you go to the front. Richmond's got it. Gant's got it.
Yeah, you see Bonnet's now in third. Oh, he went a little, Gant went a little high there. He's going to try to cut down. But now Elliott and Bodine are side by side almost for fourth. Ron Bouchard's now in seventh. Earnhardt's in eighth. Is what they just said.
They pull up on Rick Newsom. He had trouble early in the going. Live on Superstation WTBS, this $260,000 race from Richmond, Virginia this afternoon. And what a battle it is. Tim Richmond hangs.
Yeah, good battle here. I mean, even though it's single file, it's still pretty good racing. And one mistake and you slip up, the other driver's going to capitalize and get by you.
It looks like it has much more run. I think if Harry can't get in front, he could go on and just drive away from Tim Richmond.
Let's go to Glenn Jarrett on pit road.
Okay, where's Bobby Allen? We have him because of his problem. He ran over something and punctured.
There's Glenn Jarrett.
See the circle around in here where the puncture mark is. The tire was going flat. Bobby had to come in and change.
Oh, so Bobby pit because he had a flat there. He had a little bit of a hole, it looked like, in that tire.
The defending champion out of this race. Ricky, what happened to your car? Well, the motor let go on a...
Okay, so Rudd blew an engine, not a tire. I knew it looked like an engine because there'd no be other reason why Petty would go up in their wall, other than that oil, so it was an engine.
Well, we got messed up qualifying. We ended up starting 21st. We came all the way up to 4th place on the racetrack. The car was actually running very good for us. We finally got a hold of some good track position, was ready to go racing, and the motor let go, and that's our day. We'll have a new champion here today.
There you see the battle for the lead. It's a good one. 27, 33, and 12. 1, 2, and 3.
Harry Gant's really getting off that corner.
You see how much space there is between the track and the grandstands at the fairgrounds? That's one thing that I always found kind of interesting about this track. It was kind of odd because most stands are closer to the fence and the track, but for the fairgrounds, it wasn't the case.
One of the best runs I have ever seen for Kyle Petty today. Just a great run.
Now look at the 11 car. Waltrip, after falling back, seems to have remedied the problem. He isn't pitted. He's just out there, but he's doing something differently, and that car gets back in here again. He scoots outside and tries to move around Earnhardt, trying that high line out of turn number 2.
Yes, I felt like he had a problem, but now as I watched the race unfold, I think maybe he changed some tires. And
I actually got Allison to sign a program of that race. 87 Winston 500. I got Bobby Allison to sign the program for that, and he was on the cover for that program for that race.
It is Richmond in that 27 and Harry Gant in the 33. Bobby Allison.
No, it was a different one. When I met him earlier this year. I've met Allison like 4 times, I think. Oh, he's on pit road now. Speaking of Allison. So yeah, his race may be over here. It seems like he has some problems.
Bobby Allison, number 22, having his share of woe here in the Richmond race today. The leaders back pounding down the main straightaway into the first turn. Number 22 there, Tim Richmond, stays in front. Winner of 4 Grand National races, 121 starts. 3 of them on super speedways. 1 short track race to his credit. Here he is back in front. Harry Gant just itching to take that lead away from him, and you know that Bonnet wants it.
Yeah, that was in. Hold on. I know he drove for Sitco. I want to say in the early '90s. I know he. Yeah.
On the Winston Cup Tour in the Raymond Beetle, car number 27. A lot of conjecture toward the end of the year that he might not be back in the car, but he's in it and leading right now.
The lead, Bill Elliott. Let's give credit where credit is due. Earlier he was 12th, but we discounted it. Now he's up to 4th. Ernie Elliott, who has become something of a folk hero, as we see. Oh,
boy. almost got him around, and now Jeff tried to get underneath him. The bump and run.
The super speedway car last week was so superior. He says this is a brand new car, and we're very pleased right now that we're able to keep up with the General Motors product.
Well, that was interesting. But yeah, I know Bonnet drove the 75 Valvoline car in 88, 89. I don't know about 90. I'm pretty sure Bonnet was driving Sitco in 90 because that was the same year he got hurt at Darlington.
It's Richmond first, and in second it's Gant. And as quick as anything here today is the Neil Bonnet, number 12 in the third position. Line fourth over on the field is Elliott. Bodine pulls through into fifth. Earnhardt is in sixth.
Wasn't that the race where Earnhardt spun out Labonte at Bristol? Yep.
And it will be Waltrip pulling into sixth. Earnhardt falling to Waltrip begins to
That's quite the race. You can see Waltrip got back by Earnhardt here. They're still a little ways back up from the top three, but they're back in the top 10.
Now there's number 12 on the inside, trying to press his way through in the bottom of the track. Bonnet, not quite there.
So, Mike, what's your thoughts on the race so far?
We'll wait a moment and get some clear track before he tries that maneuver again.
He had almost enough room to get through. If there had been just a few laps to go, 15 or 20, Neil Bonnet would have went on. But this early in the race, why take a chance?
8 laps.
I think the 86 one was better than this one so far. But then again, it's still early. They're not even halfway through the race yet.
And Bobby Allison are the 5 that are reported out. Update on the Allison story. That's tough on Bobby Allison today. Allison reported now at number 22. And down on this Richmond 400. There's number 17, Phil Parsons.
Well, we'll see with the new short track package. We'll see the new short track package if Richmond will be better than it was last year.
40 feet wide, up onto the 12-degree banking, and headed into the backside.
We watched him a few moments ago, Ken Squire, and he was behind the 90 car. Again, he's behind the 90 car, so at least he's keeping up with a pretty good race car.
Let's go to Jerry Garrett.
We're down here with Bobby Allison. Bobby, what's the matter with your car right now? No fuel pressure.
No fuel pressure for Bobby Allison.
There's no fuel pressure. Well, they're working on that right now, trying to get him back in.
Yeah, he's going to lose a lot of laps here. And you know, losing early on in the season, getting DNFs hurt you in the long run because it's hard to get back up in the standings, even if you get DNFs early on in the season. We saw that happen on a couple occasions with different drivers. Like Darrell Waltrip in 92, he struggled at the beginning of the season. He ended up winning a couple races towards the end of 92, and he was really solid. If he had just been consistent throughout the year, Waltrip probably could have been top 5 and top 6 in points that year. Another example, Tim Richmond, and I know one year Richmond was really consistent. He won a good bit of races, and he was consistent in the second half of the season, but first half of the season he struggled in it. Wasn't able to catch up in points. Oh, we got, yep, his second time around.
Coverage continues on Superstation WTBS of the $250,000 Richmond 400 leaders are pulling on to pit road. Number 27. Richmond going for right side rubber. Gant the same. Bill Elliott the same. Waltrip in for sure. We can't discount him, Benny. He's back here strong. Bodine.
Legend. And he shouldn't have been penalized for that because they told him to stop and he stopped. They didn't tell him where to.
The 33 car of Harry Gant, number 12 of Neil Bonnet, and Bonnet the lead for the first time there.
Great pit stop by Neil Bonnet's crew. Got him out in first place. Now, this is the break Neil's been looking for. We saw how strong he was a moment ago, but he couldn't get by. His crew now got him in front. It's his job to try to drive away.
This yellow flag pit stop is another opportunity for these pit crews to go looking for that elusive Richmond combination that we've talked about all day. What happens on the stops quite frequently is two things. Tire changes. The tires obviously affect the automobile's handling. And on occasion, a chassis adjustment. They call it dialing in wedge. They can adjust the car, the weight car as we watch our camera car of Phil Parsons come in for service and possible adjustments. By making those adjustments on the yellow flag stop, they change the way the car handles. That, in turn, tries to keep the team on top of the changes in the racetrack. And indeed, this racetrack is changing dramatically. We had Rusty Wallace on our attraction board here at the STP Pit Center. We have taken him off because he has gone back out into the race. Now Phil Parsons is returning to the action. We asked Rusty Wallace what the track conditions were like out there. I won't repeat verbatim how slick he said it was. Suffice it to say that he said it is very, very slick. That sealer is worn off, the track is slippery.
Phil Parsons.
Yeah, definitely. Sorry.
Race control, Ken Squire. Do you read us? And if so, can you give us a track condition? How slippery is it out there?
Yes, Ken, I can read you. The track is getting kind of slick. It doesn't seem to be as bad as it has gotten in races previous to this one, but it is getting slick, and the car with the best handling characteristics will be the one that wins the race.
Is there a difference in the bottom of the racetrack or the outside groove? Which groove is the best one right now?
Well, for me, Benny, I can work better in 1 and 2 on the top of the racetrack, but I can seem to do better in 3 and 4 on the bottom of the racetrack. The reason being that once you get off the corner...
It's kind of ridiculous, honestly, because, you know, back then, you know, there's independent drivers. There's no independents now. You don't have any independent drivers now.
Okay, thank you. Phil Parsons.
Well, I mean, maybe. But what I mean by independent is, like, you're not part of a team and you drive for yourself and it's just a single car team. You know? Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, I mean that technically counts, but I'm just saying, like bruh, like so many guys just can't. You can't afford a $50,000 fine like a Hendrick or Joe Gibbs. So why ban them? Like, why ban them though?
Looks like
Down to 160 laps complete. This time by Richmond, Virginia. Later today, Superstation WTBS.
But Mike, did you have anything else to add about that? Yeah, I think one thing I was going to add too, like Williams not only one thing as you mentioned, you know, he got another sponsor and he's trending on Twitter. There was people that I know that don't watch NASCAR that know that I'm big into NASCAR, like I'm a NASCAR fanatic. They're like, "Did you see what happened with this guy parking on the track?" I was like, "Yeah," and they're like, "Isn't that crazy? I can't believe someone did that." And it's, you know, obviously some people that hadn't watched NASCAR and they were so confused about it. And they're like, "Why are you acting nonchalant about it?" And like, they're like, "This is such a big deal." And I'm like, well, there we go. At least, well, so far that's probably the most memorable moment of the season, to be honest. Am I wrong, or?
Champion in that ruckus at turn number 1 that eliminated Richard Petty. They're now reporting the Rick Newsom car with engine problems will be a DNF in the race. It did not finish. We have 5 cars out as Allison's going to get himself back into this fray.
Yeah, and to be honest, there hasn't even barely been any memorable moments so far this year, which is kind of disappointing.
More of a go here today. There you see Allison's number 22 back on the track and trying to pick himself up some more points because 30 races make a season. So that new Winston payoff is worth staying out there.
It really is. It seems like to win the championship is a kiss of death. You have trouble the next year.
Yeah.
The green flag waves again, Ken, and Neil Bonnet this time leads him down in turn 1.
Now the man who sustains the position.
Yeah. Well, Daniel Suarez versus Bowman and his own teammate. But yeah, you see Bonnet's now in the lead. He pulled away on the restart. Mike, what's been your favorite memory so far of the season?
Reeling back in as they come out number 4. They jump under green at lap 161.
Fair.
162 complete. 9 cars after that caution reported in the lead lap. With Bonnet first, Gant second, Richmond third, Elliott.
Well, Tyler Reddick, I picked him to win, and he did. But 23XI is still not a top team. I know some people are going to be like, say, "Oh, they're such a great team." At the moment, I don't think so. I honestly still don't think so. They still have a lot of work to do. They have some good finishes, but they're not better than Hendrick so far this season. at all by any means. Or Penske.
Is not pulling away as I thought he would. I thought he would probably put car links on Harry again, but Harry's hanging in there.
Back as they shuffle off turn 4, he's losing some ground. There's the 27, Richmond,
I don't know.
in the third spot.
This year's been,
What a
for
surprise
me,
he's
it's
been.
been kind of
What a
like,
pleasant day for the Raymond Beetle team.
I haven't been able
Great
to
run
watch
today.
it
And
because
I'm sure that the new crew chief on that team,
cable
Barry
or
Dodson, is
anything,
very
so
happy
then
about
most of the
today's
races I have to
success.
say, either if I go
Again,
like
before
somewhere
this
like a restaurant that has it or
you see this
catching up
field
on
come
Facebook or
rolling down this main
Instagram,
straightaway.
like one of the main
We talked to
pages.
Bobby
Yeah.
Allison, who
This
is back in
summer
this
week
race.
was
There you see him,
the
number
500
22,
was
getting
really
around
nice.
Bobby Hillin and right up on the
Saying
back
that,
of Kyle Petty
for
as
some,
he tries to
that was the
some
first
laps back
time I ever
about the
wanted
new
to see
tire rule. And this is
Kyle
what Bobby
Busch
Allison had to say.
finish
Maybe a factor. There's a new
in
tire
first
rule that
place
goes
in the
into
500.
effect here.
Right.
Only 2
The
tires
thing
per
that
caution,
probably
which
the thing
I think is it's a good move. And I think that may contribute to pit strategy being a factor.
We're back to track strategy right now as you watch Allison. He has his problems remedied as he goes up around.
Yeah.
Number 7, Kyle
That's
Petty.
kind of how I felt along with my dad, because even though I agree that Kyle Busch is very whiny how he drives, right?
hasn't led this race today, Ken.
Well, even though I agree that Kyle Busch is very whiny at times, and he does whine over a lot of stupid crap, I think that he's a great driver, and I think that he's very good for the sport. They need somebody like that gets fans upset, or that gets fans to like him and get mixed opinions, because it gets people talking, and he backs his talk up with how good of a race car driver he is. And Kyle Busch has my utmost respect, and I'm glad that he's off at JGR, because I like JGR.
Same.
I like Jody as a football coach, but I like Joe racing player, so
Me
yeah,
either.
I love that they doing that.
Yeah.
Honestly, the only driver I like on JGR is Mel. He's just the whine at this race, and the other ones have to cry or their little silver spoon boy.
For real though. For real.
But he's tough. The first time he ever drove on dirt, he drove in New Zealand. He'd never driven on dirt. He went to New Zealand in a winter series over there, and the first race he ever drove, he won. I mean, give him a race car, and under any conditions, he'll get whatever it is that car has. Very reminiscent of Cale Yarborough.
Yes. It looks like that through 1 and 2 that Neil Bonnick is fairly equal to Harry again, but I noticed that through 3 and 4,
Yeah.
he'll follow them now. They're in turn 3.
Out there and runs his race and runs it well.
Just close right
That's
up
what I
on
like.
him.
Bell does it well, you know what I mean? But yeah.
The difference of running through the first and second turn as opposed to running through the first turn. We had the
It'd be funny if he did make sure like that. But yeah, I mean, I do agree with both of y'all. I think that obviously, well, with personalities, Kyle Busch, I feel like a lot of people bandwagoned to him when he went to RCR and went to a Chevy. I do think that's the case, but Kyle Busch definitely one of the greatest drivers of all time. I just think that, however, we do need more personalities in the sport. Like, we have a Kyle Busch, but he's not like how he was. Hamlin's the closest thing to a rager and like an outspoken driver as there is at the moment. But other than that, we don't really have any other like crazy personalities or any drivers that you could think of that are like personalities. Chastain's probably the closest thing to one, with him being very aggressive and known as someone who doesn't give a crap and goes out there and isn't afraid to ruffle some feathers, you know what I mean? But other than that, there isn't really any other personalities. Am I wrong?
Right off at the beginning of the race, his fortune caught up with him. That's a Ronnie tire cut down.
That's a Ronnie Thomas car right in front of him. Down the front straightaway.
See how much that front straightaway shortens up on you.
Boy, Bill goes way down low going in turn 1. He almost used the pit road.
Back straightaway. There you see from outside, there's the 41 car and the 17 to the onboard camera just behind it. Closes up a little. Meanwhile, for the leader. Move. Here comes Richmond down on the inside. Crowding, trying to find some room under Harry Gant. Whoa. Well, that's about as conservative as Richmond gets.
Yeah, that's right. What did you say a moment ago?
Number 27, Tim Richmond. Richmond of old. Just can't wait to get in the fight if he can find one.
Beautiful move on the inside, though. A beautiful move.
Here he comes. Now lives in Fort Lauderdale on a 45-foot yacht into health food.
Oh, speaking of the action going up front, Richmond was trying to get by Gant, couldn't quite clear him, and now Bill Elliott's back into the picture. But we're about halfway through the race. I don't like Hamlin. He's just, I've heard stories about him, and yeah, maybe if I met with him and talked with him and got to know him more, I think I would be okay with him. It's just I've just never been a fan of him, to be honest with you.
They've got some additional help out of Emmanuel Zerbakas. Builds a lot of cars in the area. In fact, about a third of the cars we saw in the late model stock.
No, me either.
They say he's been working with Hal Needham, Travis Carter team to improve their short track program where Zerbakas
Yes.
has great cars.
Agreed.
Here's this number 33.
Oh, Gant's here. Let's see if Gant actually uses the bumper on Bonnet. Gant never really did that, though. He was more of a race hard guy who'd make a clean pass. He never really moved anyone out of the way. So we'll see what Gant does here.
That's first and second right there, knocking on the door. 181 laps complete. Bonnet hungry for a win, and you can bet your boots. Gant, who had just a sensational last part of 1984. His record was incredible. They started from July on. He'd won a national championship, but that's not the way they score this thing. No. 30 races make the championship, and that's the one thing.
Yeah, he's all over him. He just can't seem to get by him.
Everybody out there, every car on this racetrack today wants a national championship.
We'll be back with more.
One thing I haven't asked yet, but thought I'd bring up. What are y'all's thoughts on the guardrail? They didn't have a wall. You know what I mean? At this track, it was just a guardrail. What was your thoughts on that?
Clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser. For all you do, this Bud's for you.
Back at the Richmond Fairgrounds Speedway, it has become the Neil Bonnet and Harry Gant show for the moment. Neil Bonnet's teammate, the man who dominated the early running, Darrell Waltrip, is not having any problems, according to the people on his crew.
68 at one point. Now it's probably back up because of the no cautions in the last 30 or 40 laps.
The other man who is on the move, Dave Despain, is Dale Earnhardt. In last lap, Earnhardt has drawn away just a bit from Bill Elliott. He overwhelmed the Ford of Bill Elliott, and it is number 3, Earnhardt, now running in 4th, relegating Bill Elliott to 5th, leaving Bodine in 6th, Waltrip 7th, Bouchard in 8th, Petty 9th, Labonte 10th, Butch Lindley 11th, Dave Marcus in 12th, Blake Speed 13th, Schrader 14th, Bobby Hill 15th, with 191 of the 400 laps complete. There you see number 3, Dale Earnhardt, chugging away, and now going after number 27, Tim Richmond. There's number 9, Bill Elliott. There's 17 right behind him, and there's Bill Parsons really having to fight that.
Earnhardt just got by Bill Elliott. He's now closing in on, I think, Tim Richmond here for 3rd.
Bodine will go alongside. He'll have to stay down and let Darrell Waltrip go by as they enter turn 1.
There they go.
Ooh, just barely in front of him.
From the Skull car, you're seeing these pictures live.
Yeah, I know they definitely had some good battles. I think one was at Bristol in either 84 or 86. They had a good battle at Bristol.
Back down before this packed crowd, standing room only in Richmond today. Record crowd at Daytona last week, and all records have been broken here today for attendance. What a race they're seeing. The greatest stock car performers in the world are really putting on.
Yeah.
Benny Parsons, I'm Ken Squire, along pit road. Garrett, Glenn Jarrett, Dave Despain at the STP Pit Center. There's number 12, Neil Bonnet, your leader, and number 33, Gant, tries a higher line around turn number 2. Right behind them is number 27, Tim Richmond in 3rd.
I thought Harry Gant was going to get him on the outside a moment ago.
Classic Dale.
Battle for first place.
Difficult groove coming
Gant's not being that. He's trying the outside lane. He knows Earnhardt's coming, but he's just not able to get by Bonnet. And Earnhardt's the fastest car in the field, it seems like. Waltrip's still up there, but Earnhardt seems to be faster than Waltrip.
I wonder if we're seeing a strategy change here. Might be a question for Benny Parsons. A couple of laps, we see number 33 Harry Gant move up high and tackle the outside line. Do you think he's trying that new line, Benny? Is he going to try to run up there?
He's trying that new line because Dale Earnhardt is having so much success up there. His crew, or maybe Hal Needham, has saw that. They have told him.
Yeah, and for those watching at the end of the video, we'll be looking at the race statistics and results, so make sure to tune in for that. If y'all haven't yet, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe. Thank y'all so much for watching this stream, and make sure to go follow Sean and Mike as well. Their links will be in the description below. As we can see, Darrell Waltrip is now underneath Jeff Bodine, getting by him. That's about for 6th, and Elliott's in 5th.
The first 100 laps, Ken, but the man who ran second most of that time is the man right behind him, Jeff Bodine. Why Bodine dropped back into traffic?
We have those good old Mike singing on the screen moments every once in a while.
We asked him if there was a brake problem. He said no. What we don't want is a brake problem at the end of the race. The theory is that Bodine is saving his race car.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. YouTube will literally copy you for the littlest thing. So who knows? But then again, I doubt that they would. Oh, we're halfway, by the way. So. I didn't realize that would actually cause a problem. But okay. Yeah, I made that meme. Yeah. Oh, jeez. That's crazy.
Just a second, but he went away.
You know, sometimes you could just replace the song segment in the YouTube editor.
And the handling capabilities. And it's interesting, Benny, that now most of these teams, like major football teams, they deploy a guy to sit up in the very top seat of the grandstand. They'll buy the ticket if they have to. They watch the strategy of the other cars, and they report it to those cars down on pit road. I know
Bruh.
for you.
Well, I mean, that's just part of YouTube, man. Like, I've gotten plenty of stupid, or what I thought was stupid copyright things in the past, so I'm just more careful with it now. Obviously, there's sometimes where you're going to have to claim because of, you know, it's more recent. It's more recent footage, so we'll see. You see, Elliott lost some spots there.
Bill Elliott slipping back. Number 9 car running high off turn number 4. Now trying to take
Wow, Walter really cut it in front of that lap car there.
Bill Elliott's car. It looks like the tires.
A lot of the races early on in the season at Richmond were really cold because they ran at like February, and yeah, there was some I read about in 1990, I think, the first race they had at Richmond, it was like 20 degrees. It was like one of the coldest races in NASCAR history.
7 drivers in USAC in 26 years. Won features in those major divisions, cars, midget, stock cars, and championship. Look at Earnhardt.
Earnhardt hitting Richmond, maybe here.
Kid Schrader in the 90s is the newest member of that flock from the USAC ranks.
Trying to get by him here, but the lap car's in the way.
Here is car number 64, Clark Dwyer, a lap car on the bottom in that Ford. Double Langley's car. Earnhardt has to step off and move around. Richmond in the
Yeah, Elmo drove in the 64 for I don't know how many seasons, but he did. I don't think he ever won a race in his Cup Series career.
Real interesting. This could get very interesting. And both the Earnhardt seems to run as good low as he does high. Either crew.
He did lead some laps, I think. Yeah, good point there, Sean. Yeah. Wow, we're really high there. Well, Allison, I don't know if you'll saw, but Allison is back on the track after those issues, but he's still like at least 20 or 30 laps down.
Look at number 33 Gant as they lap J.D. McDuffie, trying to make a little move. There's a couple of smoothies.
Boy, that's a couple of good race car drivers we're seeing right now, Ken Squire. And if I tell you, Neil Bennett slips just about 3 feet, Harry Gant in that skull bandit is going to be by him.
And that's about an inch and a half on the steering wheel.
That's right. But Neil Bonnet knows that.
They both can be so right. Got 7 cars running out here that really look tattered and torn now, Benny. This begins to look like a Richmond race.
Yeah, I'm a statistics guy, so I like statistics. I like seeing driver averages. I wish they would show that more. But obviously, there's some sites where you can find that stuff. I think, Racing Reference is a site where you can pretty much find anything. There's TubbyChristian.com. They do some pretty cool stats. But that's all I can really add about that. What about you, Mike?
They move up around Lenny Pond in the 48. In a wide line there. Laps complete, 212. 212 are down. And again, sitting there, sizing up his man. So much at stake on a move. You finally commit yourself to go after that shot. If you're going to go down, the next time you won't let you through there. You can throw the dummy several times to the outside, but when you finally commit to something, you better be ready to pull the trigger.
Exactly right. They seem to be putting just a little distance on the Tim Richmond and Dale Earnhardt cars right now. I would say that Earnhardt has probably used up his tires pretty much, making his charge up to 4 spots.
Third place car, Richmond. Fourth place car, Earnhardt. And behind Earnhardt comes Darrell Waltrip in 5th. And then it is almost a quarter of a track back to the Jeff Bodine car in 6th, followed by Bill Elliott, who is having his problems. He's about 15 car lengths back is Elliott from Bodine. 8th position, Bouchard. 9th, Petty. 10th, Labonte. 11th, Marcus. 12th, Speed. 13th, Lidley. Here's Richmond.
ESPN.
27 car. They begin to gather up on him. Earnhardt taking the high side again. He rides the rail a little, trying to find some room on Tim Richmond. Neither man's ever won here at Richmond.
Earnhardt's trying to get by Richmond on the outside here, and Waltrip's actually gained on both of them.
I'll start get under Dale Earnhardt going in turn 1. Didn't quite make it.
That's Richmond line now. Here comes that 3 up, and watch the 11 car. Watch
He was.
To scoot off the corner. You see a little smoke smoldering off the back of number 3.
That's those tires up in that high groove. Slipping just a little bit.
And there's that 11 car, Waltrip. We have a 3-way battle.
I disagree.
The blue and
But,
yellow car.
I would say
National champion. And the 2-time Grand National champion. On the inside. And now you can look like a fender might even be rubbing on car number 3.
No, he was just sideways. He was really burning that.
Well, my thing is, the Iron Man is the definition for Iron Man in sports, though, is like, being able to consistently run and do what you do without missing time. And, okay, well, with my definition of Iron Man and, running consecutive races and, being able to compete for a long period of time without missing stuff, like, personally, for me, that would be Labonte, guys like Labonte, Gordon, and, what's another one? Mark Martin would be another example. Ricky Rudd. Yeah, Gant had a good long period. But yeah, I mean... No, you're good.
He's got Darrell in behind the slow car now. He's got 4th spot again.
They get around. The only Chrysler product in the field, and Earnhardt, for the moment, has the position. At the SPP Pit Center, here's Dave Despain.
If you've just joined us, let's run down the top 15 running positions here in the Richmond 400. Neil Bonnet leads the race, holding off Harry Gant, who is really charging one of the most experienced short trackers in the business. The surprise of the race is Tim Richmond.
Petty raced with a lot of injuries too, like Richard Petty. He raced with a broken neck. He's raced with like shoulder blade injury. Then I know Earnhardt had a collarbone injury in race. So Ron Bouchard's actually 8th. Wow. Kyle Petty's not. Terry Labonte, despite wrecking, is in 10th. That's crazy.
David Pearson, the USAC star Ken Schrader, and Lenny
I'm surprised David Pearson was in this race. I didn't think about that. I should have been paying more attention during the intros, but David Pearson's actually in the 16 car. Huh. Yeah, me either.
Okay, that's the report
Yeah.
from Darrell Walters, Fish. Everything seems to be A-okay.
For 10 laps, they've been going at it here.
Good way for Earnhardt here to use the pick on Waltrip. But I think Pearson, his last race was in 86 or 87, but I may be wrong.
Boy, Darrell Waltrip was there, though. He was there, and he is just, he feels so badly right now.
And it's been a long green flag run, to be honest with you. I think this is the longest one so far of the race.
225 laps complete. Again, Waltrip on the bottom of the track, right beside him in our live coverage.
How many more cautions do you think there will be?
400, number 11 on the bottom of the track. Waltrip moves in. Earnhardt, who's been a runner-up but has never won it, stays right there, and they continue to run wheel to wheel, lap after lap, before a record crowd.
And meanwhile, while they're doing that, the leaders are pulling away. Tim Richmond has driven up. He's on the back bumper of Harry.
Okay, bold predictions. Yeah, I could definitely see that happening.
While Earnhardt and Waltrip race.
As we see, Richmond's still having a hard time getting. Gantz just has had a hard time getting by Bonnet, and Richmond's closed back in again.
234 of 400 laps have been.
What is this camera angle?
The battle is all on the point. It is between Neil Bonnet making those instinctive moves that made him such a great short track champion out of Alabama, and this man, number 20.
You see Richmond got by Gant for second.
Ohio, who has just overhauled number 33, Harry Gant, to take over in second position. Gant sustains third. Earnhardt is fourth.
Earnhardt's actually now. Earnhardt walks above Gant. We may have a 5-car battle for the lead here shortly.
David probably very pleased with how well he's running watching at home today. Number 12, Bonnet stays first, and there you see the exact interval into turn number 3 between those.
Since it is like Richmond weekend and we're watching a race at Richmond, what is some of y'all's favorite Richmond moments? Yeah, that's a good one. As you see, there's JD McDuffie. What about you, Sean?
Next year after this race, windshield cleaning, because we run that to me. Probably one of this whole
There's another one. Ronnie Thomas in the 41 who stays out there. Look at 27 to make the move.
Okay.
I would have to agree with that for sure.
Another one that I thought of was 19. I know this, not a lot of people know this, but this is the 1992 Pontiac Excitement 400 where Alan Quickie barely edged Bill Elliott. No, Bill Elliott barely edged Quickie in that finish. It was like maybe a couple inches he won by. And then another one for me was Jeremy Mayfield winning for Dodge in 2004 for the Chase, that race. Another memorable one, obviously Kurt Busch versus Johnson in 2011. That race was just chaotic, all the tempers in that race. Whoa, there goes Bonnet. Wow, now it came out of nowhere, and now he was in the lead.
Out of turn number 2.
Yikes.
Bonnet crashes head on into the wall.
I've seen that wreck before, but I didn't know it was in this race. Huh. That's such a shame for him. He was running so well. That's a sudden stop, too.
Yes.
Jeez.
It's going to take a while to fix that piece of landscape.
They're going to have to fix the fence.
Golly, look, he took part of the guardrail out.
Can you imagine what I felt like when I fall down the first corner? He went through the fence.
Neil Bonnet, straight through the fence. 33, Harry Gant is on pit road. We are under caution.
Yeah.
This is the 5th caution of the day as the leader, Neil Bonnet, straight in the barrier. Tire rule here.
That could, I don't know, like he hasn't got out of the car yet, but it didn't look like it impaled the car. Yeah, it's moving around.
I'd like to know if he did not change lefts. Everyone else I noticed changed rights.
I wonder what happened because I'm pretty sure it looked like he just went too hard off the 2 and just went straight into the fence.
A solid lick. I mean, if you hit a wall like that, that's a right hook to the head.
Well, it wasn't.
His body will be sore. His wife, Susan, you may have seen her a week ago. The discouragement, the agony of losing a race as he did last week. He walks away.
I don't think this is a tire rule that caused this problem. I think if he had a problem with a tire, then he ran over something and cut a tire. I think that, we've had reports from the pits that the tires are not wearing today. They're not wearing out. So it's not the tire rule that's caused the problem.
Yeah, his,
Well, the report, candidate Neil Bonnet's pits is that he radioed in, he blew a tire.
Blew a tire. Well, I mean, they were going to be coming up on pit stop shortly anyways. And, yeah, just stayed out too long, I guess.
And his hopes of winning this race for the first time, all gone. Fence torn up.
Oh, look, there's Allison stopping by to see check on him. Huh. It's like there's Bonnet now talking to Allison.
That's kind of neat. That really is neat. Bobby can't win the race. He's several laps down. It doesn't matter if he stops and lets a few cars go by him. He stopped to make sure his friend was okay. Very nice move on Bobby Allison's part.
So Neil Bonnet becomes the latest victim, and they bring out the fencing to replace the part torn up by Neil Bonnet. As once again, he takes the longest walk in motorsport. And it's sure not baseball walking in to replace a pitcher. Bonnet out. We'll be back with more in a moment. Neil Bonnet will not change his luck today. Walking back, he's come all around the 3rd and 4th turn, and he survived this crash in turn number 2. Leader, second turn. Right up out here, you can see it. Hook. Car just going.
Yeah, you see, he tried turning it to the left and just couldn't. You see that pole not that long ago, like not that far down the track. That could have been like worse if he hit the pole.
Right.
Unfortunate situation.
Looks like we'll have an interview.
Neil Bonnet out of this race. Let's go to Glenn Jarrett with Neil Bonnet now.
Okay, we're here with Neil Bonnet. Neil, terrible tragedy there. You had a big lead, looked like you were running away. What went wrong with the car?
Well, I don't know. Going in the first turn, it felt like the front tire fell down. I saw the right front drop down right in the middle of the corner. The thing just took off. I had the wheels cut and I couldn't turn. It went straight in the fence.
But you are okay?
Well, messed up a good race car. I don't know what it felt like a tire went out.
Sorry you had tough luck.
Yeah. Oh, that sucks.
That is impact. Terrible impact.
Again, that makes me not want to do this. That's awful.
Red flag condition is coming out here at the Virginia State Fairgrounds.
Yeah, that's the sudden stop too. Like that could have been really bad.
Through the second turn fence, and we will have a red flag condition while they repair the track with 246 laps complete. This car, number 75, Lake Speed, is being shown in the 10th position overall in the field. Last week, Lake Speed had the greatest race of his life when he finished second in the Daytona 500. It was a marvelous moment for him. For many, it was the first time they got to meet this young Mississippi driver. So let's take a
Yeah, because the new cars, if you get here, I've heard that when you get hit in the rear, it actually messes, it shakes you up a little bit. And you get hit in the side also.
Well off family. My father started out, I think when he was 18 years old, he put a plow down out in South Mississippi.
Well, I think that's our 5th caution of the race. I may be wrong, 5th or 6th.
He did well.
Few more,
I
so
was
that
born
makes
with
one
a
more.
silver spoon in my mouth, if you want to call it that way.
I think we have seen in motorsports one of your best moments when we saw you finish second in the Daytona 500. What's been the hardest?
I guess in 1978, when I won the World Championships in Mons, France, I had spent 19 years of my life, a lot of hard hours, a lot of 7-day-a-week, all day and all night deals. In the meantime, try not to get emotional about this, but I lost a wife and a child due to divorce. And the commitment that I had made to racing had a lot to do with that.
That it was
Just
such
too
a big,
much.
yeah.
Too much. I didn't do them right. I know that today.
Let's go ahead. There's a delay here for a good while, so let's skip ahead to 207
And life is real.
flat.
And it's
Yeah, I got on the 207. Okay.
You hear that, Mike?
Yes, I'm just trying to get to the right goal.
You're good.
Yeah, they were red flagged for a bit.
There we go. I'm here.
Alrighty, I'll give a count in. 1, 2, 3.
But when you turn them off, the heat's going to go up. Now, once they start it back and cool them off.
So we're finally getting back racing here after that lengthy delay.
Tries to get a jump on the green flag waves.
So they come around.
Wow, Labonte really shut the door there on Waltrip, it appeared, to block him.
Richmond tears away out in front.
Yes.
Harry Gant having to work his way
Here's
back up to
Earnhardt
the tail
in third.
end of the lead lap. 8 cars running in lead lap. The number 44 car, Terry Labonte, is a lap car. And it's Tim Richmond's race to lead for the moment.
Yeah, he doesn't have the straight away speed because of that damage earlier.
Ground out plus by each of those cars as they streak on across that start-finish line. From the in-car camera, take a look at it.
It's a cool in-car view.
Number 3, slide just a little.
Do you just see they have to really crank the wheel in 3 and 4?
Down in front of this capacity house. Right behind Harry Gant, the 8th place car.
Harry Gant looks like he's having problems. He must maybe got the car sideways or something. He certainly is dropping back.
Indeed he is. Gant falling away after that stout run he made earlier. In fact, here's Phil Parsons.
Phil Parsons is actually about to pass him on the outside.
On car number 33.
Huh.
He is way off the pace of this race.
He did.
I think the crew motion to the left side. I think he has a flat tire on the left side.
Cale Yarborough? I don't think he was in this race. He was in the 500 that year, but I don't think he was in this race, so we would have to look and see why later on. But you see Earnhardt's now going underneath Waltrip for second.
That's a running machine. Number 33 on pit road. Have to go a lap down right here.
Yeah, Gant's gonna lose some time.
A lap down.
We are on 209.10.
Jeff Bodine making a run for third spot.
So we're
Jeff Bodine at number 5 and Waltrip is falling back.
Bodine just got by Waltrip. Bodine's showing some strength here on the short run. He just doesn't have the long run speed.
This leader right now, that's Tim Richmond. That car is hockey. Tim Richmond, third here a year ago. Number 27, the maroon and gold car, and number
Tim Richmond and Dale Earnhardt battle ensuing, maybe.
that second position, 2 car lengths back, and he seems to get just so much better run into those corners. That number 3 Earnhardt car.
He really does, but he's running a little bit higher groove than some of the other cars, and that's one reason that he can go in the turns a little harder than some of the other fellows.
Remember, Tim
So what's some of the differences y'all have noticed between Richmond here in the 80s compared to the 90s and 2000s?
He is out in front. Meanwhile, man in second place. Number 3 Earnhardt started 4th. Battered down on pit road earlier. Is there and close enough to get a higher line through turns 1 and 2 as he attempts to chase down Tim Richmond. Laps complete, 2:59. This time by. Remarkable pictures of that Bonnie climax to this race. Incredible amount of course he took and how lucky Tim Richmond was that he didn't nip the back end of that car and destroy his hopes today, and possibly those of Earnhardt too. That could have been a 4 or 5 car jam session, as Benny Parsons was telling you early.
Yeah.
All running together and all running tight out here. Something happens to a leader like that, often it's a foursome or a quintet that finds themselves in trouble.
Exactly right, and they're very fortunate that more than one car was involved in that.
Bodine lies third. Now there is that number 3 car. That 3 just seems to glide those corners a little more than 27, which tracks a little harder.
You know, Earnhardt all day, the first
Gotcha.
few laps after caution like hasn't been the dominant force, but he gets better as the tires get hotter, or appears to.
Here he is, getting about a 5-car length advantage now.
Yeah, Richmond's actually started to pull away a little bit from Earnhardt.
Daylight he's had today. The only one to have a bigger lead was briefly Neil Bonnet, and on a brief occasion back in the first 100 laps, Waltrip had himself about a 12-car length advantage.
And right now, it just doesn't seem like anyone has anything for Waltrip, Earnhardt, or Richmond because the long run speed. Bodine doesn't have long run speed, or does Bill Elliott.
There is a puncture mark. This racetrack tends to have a lot of debris built up on it, and on that restart, Harry must have run over something and cut the tire. Very, very costly happening for him.
Talk to Terry Labonte. We're talking about Waltrip bringing a car 2 years older. I asked Terry Labonte about the number 44 car that
should be coming up on 100 laps to go, I think.
Ran last year, and he said, quote, "Yep, same one as last year, and the year before, and the year before, and the year before." A real workhorse, that number 44. It's battered, but it's still out here and still running in 9th position. Terry Labonte chasing.
Yeah, Labonte being in the top 10 with that damage is pretty impressive. And he's held his own. He was on the lead lap even with that damage earlier on. I don't think he's still on the lead lap now, but Labonte's, points were very crucial back then, especially early in the season, as I mentioned earlier. So he's doing the best he can to stay out there and get a good finish.
Was at Martinsville, Virginia, between Jeff Bodine and Ron Bouchard. They ran side by side, nose to tail all day long. And they grew up on this kind of racetrack and really know how to get around it.
We asked Terry Labonte about this Richmond track and how hard a race it was.
Oh, okay. What cars? Next gen cars?
We'll be getting to that report from Terry Labonte shortly. Terry Labonte,
I didn't know they're doing testing today.
Holding on in 9th. That is Bouchard running directly in front of him in the
Ron Bouchard.
Now notice number 33, Gant. They sure have their problems there. They are a lap down on the field. Harry Gant's number 33. Kyle Petty is in 7th. Bouchard is 6th.
Kyle Petty is in 7th, I think is what they said. And Petty ended up winning the next year in '86. He's his first career win.
He's really moving, though. He's really going. Just passes Dave Marcus on the outside. Draws a bead on Terry Labonte. That's for position.
I was going to ask you this, Sean. I don't think I've asked you this before, but what's your thoughts on all the different manufacturers back then? You had Buick, you had Dodge, you had Oldsmobile, Chevy, Fords. Nowadays, you just have Chevy, Toyota, and Fords. So, what is your thoughts on the different manufacturers? Do you think that there should be more?
I'd like to see more.
Well, I don't know. I hope we are. It's kind of a tough racetrack sometimes to really get your car working the way you want to. Some days, if you got it working good, it's a good day for you. And if your car's off a little bit, it makes a long day.
Terry Labonte, whose car got really whacked, and here he is out a little, and there's Harry Gant. Still trying to pick up positions and get himself back into this race. A lap down after an unscheduled stop. Tire problem put him back. Dale Inman, who takes such pride in that number 44. Car sure does not look like an Inman car right now.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't.
Looks like something from South Boston after a Saturday night. A lot of great racing in Virginia. While North Carolina likes to take pride in claiming North Carolina as the racing territory, Virginians are very, very proud and feel their racing is most special. Now, tracks like the Old Dominion Speedway and Southside Speedway, over the years they've developed great racers, and it's interesting that among
I agree.
purchased for things like the World 600, Virginia leads the way with the number of seats sold. There are the leaders. It's Tim Richmond still first, and Earnhardt maintaining the 2nd position. And is he waiting on him, or do you think Earnhardt will join all he's got?
We've noticed this all day. On the restart, Dale Earnhardt is not a dominant car until 30 or 40 laps into the run, and then his car becomes strong for another 40, 50 laps. Then he seems to be about equal with anyone. I would think in the next 10 or 15 laps, if he's going to make a run, it'll be in the next 10 or 15 laps.
More from the Virginia State Fairgrounds of the Richmond 400
Yeah.
after these messages.
Earnhardt, and here in the FCC Pit Center, those are big names here as we get back to green flag.
Is up. 316 of the 400 laps have been completed. If you're just joining us, a terrible crash brought out the red flag when Neil Bonnet went straight.
Yeah, I don't think that'd be possible.
Outside returning fence. He is okay. That retainer just didn't hold on. It usually will bounce you back, return you onto the track. It didn't.
That'd be cool if, like, maybe you could see that from back in the day. Nowadays, I can see that happening, but it just take a lot of work to do, and I don't know if anyone would pay someone to do that.
Awesome spectacle when you see one of these 3,700-pound cars just project itself right through that Armco barrier. Mary Gann is drawing away from Jeff O'Dine. Remember, the 33 car is in 8th, trying to make up a lap. The men in that lead lap in front of him are Earnhardt and Richmond. There's the leader, number 3, sadly wrinkled in the front. The car looking glorious to Richard Childress and Rich Elberdine at this point.
Glenn Jarrett has a question from down on Pit Road. Glenn, what kind of question do you have?
Well, Benny, I've noticed you've been talking about the different grooves that Dale Earnhardt has been running. I've been standing down at the end of Pit Road.
Wow, so Earnhardt actually got by Tim Richmond. We didn't see that whenever they had that camera freeze. But Earnhardt's now ahead by like a couple seconds over Richmond.
In the past, and I have too. When this racetrack gets slick, a lot of times the groove moves up like that. It looks like that's what Dale Earnhardt is using to his advantage right now.
80 laps to go as Earnhardt puts a lap on Ronnie Thomas in the 41, and you can see Ronnie Thomas take an extra chop at number 41 as he came off.
Yeah, Thomas has been running in the inside lane. He's been getting lapped a good bit, but we'll see where he ends up in the final positions once we look after the race.
How comfortable is it out there for Dale Earnhardt in car number 3? This is what he told us earlier.
Well, it's a fairly short.
A lot of segments with Earnhardt here. They've been showing some with like Allison and Earnhardt, but those two have been getting a lot of screen time when it comes to those segments.
Here he is getting a little high that time as he did almost a peekaboo with the fence.
I think they've had one for Petty and for Rudd, but they haven't had one for Richmond or Gant. And a matter of fact, they haven't had one for Jeff O'Dine either.
Tim Richmond and the leader, Dale Earnhardt, and he's trying for Tim Richmond right now.
He sure is. There's Schrader on the inside. Richmond realizes the 33 is trying to take the lap back. And look again,
I think that's Ken Schrader in the 90 car.
He goes after Tim Richmond. Remember that Gant in the 33 car is now shown in 8th position. NASCAR scoring has him in 8th, trying to get back up in that.
And Gant's really trying to get a lap back.
And then this man, number 33,
too far away from Earnhardt, but he's able to pass Richmond here like he is on the outside lane. Wow, what a move by Gant to get by Richmond there.
When we watch Harry Gant make moves like that, Ken, we're reminded
There isn't many people that I've heard of with the last name Richmond. I mean, there's Mitch Richmond who played in the NBA, but other than that, and Tim Richmond, I don't know who else other Richmonds that I could think of.
He's really putting that short track experience to work. Bear in mind that he is a lap down, but he has now unlapped himself from the 3rd and the 2nd place cars, and he's looking up there to find old Earnhardt, and then Benny Parsons will get his wish. We'll see those two.
I mean, there's the Run TMC Warriors with the Tim Harwood Jr., Mitch Richmond, and Chris Mullen back in the early 90s. But other than that, as I mentioned, I can't think of any other Richmonds in any other sports.
Then he moved on, got into this team with the Skoll team, and it's been going great. $1.9 million he's collected. $1.9 million in earnings in Grand National, and really it's been since 1979. There's the leader, 1980 Grand National champion. In 79 he was the Rookie of the Year.
Here's a race for about 4th spot. This is really a great race.
Whoa, Walter was running really high there in 3 and 4, and Elliott's been trying to. We've seen the high lane actually work a good bit during this race, surprisingly. More than I thought that there would be.
O'Dine right there
second place. You know, we talked a moment ago, they talked to Barry Dodson, the crew chief on Tim Richmond's car. He said he thought that maybe they had a tire going down. What happened was it was the left sides that they changed. It made the car too loose. The strategy backfired on them.
Gant needs a caution to gather it up. He is about 6 seconds back from the leader, number 3, Earnhardt. That's a long way to go with 70 laps remaining in the race. The battle is right here. There you see 27 of Richmond, the 5 in third spot. That is Bodine. There's the 9 of Elliott and the 11. These cars are all gathered up in the runner-up.
Yeah, they were on the same team in 1970.
Let's go to Glenn Jarrett.
We're standing here in the pits with Travis Carter,
Yeah.
crew chief on Harry Gant's car. Travis fixed that cut tire that caused Harry his problem.
Well, one other one I could think of was the teammates. Robert Yates, Ross Yates Racing, you know, in the late 90s when they had Jared and Urban on the same team, and Jared and Rudd. And then obviously Jeff Gordon was on the same team with Terry Labonte and Ken Schrader at one point with Hendrick. And then once you got to the 2000s, you know, some of the teammates, notable teammate duos became more of a thing. So you start seeing like Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon, like you mentioned, and you then start seeing later on Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin, Edwards and Kinsey. Wow, Allison's all over Earnhardt, even though Allison. Oh wow, whoa, Carnival, it's Elliott.
Absolutely dead, head on into the retainer.
Wow.
Brand new Elliott car.
Jeez, Elliott who won the 500 is in the wall here.
The second top driver to have a serious mistake.
I wonder what happened.
Wide open on turn number 4, and it just turned on him.
He's been running that outside groove.
He said he went wide open into the wall, so maybe a tire.
Inside the car, trying to get himself unhooked and get out of that thing.
The caution is on for the 7th time today.
We'll see.
This most unusual, different, mysterious Richmond 400. First car on pit road was Lindley. Now the leader comes in, Earnhardt, followed by Gant a lap down, Richmond, Bodine, Waltrip, Terry Labonte all make their way onto pit road. There you see number 9, the winner of the 1985 Daytona 500 last week, where he collected to turn number 4.
Some wonderful strategy this time.
Earnhardt looks
Dale
like he
Earnhardt
got off
and
first.
Harry Gant and Jeff Bodine get together on pit road.
Oh, was that?
And the 33 car
That's
is
Gant.
still there. He got pushed right up to the wall. Here's Gant coming out. And I don't think he's going to be very happy about that.
I don't think he is either. But several, 2 cars that time changed the left sides, and 3 cars changed the right sides.
Right at the area where the roadway is to cross the track is where Bill Elliott's car has wheeled into the fence.
Huh.
He's starting to crawl out. Yeah, he's crawling out of the thing right now. Boy, look at that.
You see the fans cheering.
Applause they're giving.
Tremendous applause for Elliott.
Yeah, Elliott was a very popular driver back in the day, and he won the most popular driver for a long time.
And Harry Mellon.
So much.
He's probably watching the show today from up in Jackson, Michigan. I'm sure he's glad to see that Bill Elliott is okay.
They've wheeled the ambulance right back down pit road to take its location at the first turn.
Oh, we got an ambulance.
Clambered out, is now walking across the track. There you can see some of the residue from the car, the water coming across. It's a frustrated, tired Bill Elliott.
Yeah, you can sort of see, even though the quality's not that great, you can kind of see like dirt on his face. Dirt and grease.
Pit road, he's trying to cross pit road.
Bill Elliott's car being pulled off the 4th turn wall at the Virginia State Fairgrounds as our live coverage on Superstation WTBS continues. And the 1985 Daytona 500 won't be the first man since Cale Yarborough in 1977 to win Daytona and then come on to win Richmond. It's a tough combination. That great old super speedway, world center of speed, and then the half-mile track, which is really the heart of American racing, like you see it every
Trying to get the
week
car
throughout the
going
United
away from the
States.
fence here.
here.
I don't know if we'll have a replay or not because it was during the middle of a battle. Oh, we got here.
Grinding crash. What happened there?
Evidently cut a tire down. That's all I can say. It just went straight in the wall.
Well, it's too bad. It's a tough break. You really had that Ford running well. Are you okay?
Yeah, so far I'm okay.
All right. Thank you. Sorry to see you have tough luck.
Short interview. Oh, that's all they caught.
Just about the moment of impact right there. Number 9 came to rest. Elliott's car whomping into the fourth turn wall.
Yeah, I imagine the impact could have been pretty hard.
Sight you don't like to see. Runner like that, be a contender right to the finish, run so well.
Yes. You know, we talked about Tim Richmond a moment ago. It'd be interesting to find out if he in fact did have a tire going down, because if he didn't, when this caution comes out, he was able to go in and change right sides. He now has the new right sides with the best left sides out there. Some of the other cars change left sides, but
they're still running under yellow, but they don't resume. Let's skip ahead to 2:44:08 because that's when we start to see about to come up on the restart. I reckon they ran a lot of laps under yellow.
Yeah.
All right, ready in 3, 2, 1.
Driver here today.
He's got to be. I think he's what?
That's Bobby Hillin Jr. in the A car.
Yes. The car is owned
Yep.
by the Stavola brothers out of New Jersey. Put a team together.
Hillin Jr. won at Talladega. I think his only career win was at Talladega. And I want to say he was in 86. I may be wrong. He's either 86 or 88.
Young Bobby Hillin, and he is exactly the crew chief that a Bobby Hillin needs. So much knowledge in his head that he can.
He was driving the A car, but he was sponsored by Miller when he won at Talladega.
How about it, Dave Despain?
Darrell Waltrip, Ken Squire. Last year he led 365 laps of this race, and you recall they ran out of tires. Under the old rules, they could change as many as they want, as often as they wanted all day long, and Waltrip used up every tire.
Ron Bouchard's in the top 5, actually.
Junior Johnson, the master
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, he is top 5.
But he says we can sure use a new set of lefts. They can't change them because of the rule. They've already changed their 2 tires under this yellow flag stop. He feels that a lot of people could use lefts for what is now boiling down to about a 40-lap run, it looks like, for the checkered flag here. In my mind,
I think he's the only driver to win in the 47 car in NASCAR history, but I may be wrong. I know Ambrose won in the 9. He never won in the 47 unless it was the Busch Series.
But he scrambled his way back. Now it's all going to come down to one roll of the dice at the end of the race. Who's got the line? Who's got the combination? And perhaps most importantly, who's got the tires?
Lap to go, and they'll be back under green.
Yeah.
Lap remaining. The tow trucks coming in, and the work unit went up here in turn number 4. As we get set to go, and you see them with Butch Lindley's car down on the inside is a lap car, Labonte behind him. On the outside, you see Dale Earnhardt, and then the maroon and gold number 27 of Richmond, followed by Walter.
This is it, Ken. This is it. I mean, 50 laps to go. No more caution flags, hopefully. And whoever has the best setup right now, who has used the best strategy, is going to win.
Quick report from Jerry Garrett.
Well, Ken, I just heard from somebody on the pit crew for number 9, Bill Elliott's car. That car may be destroyed. That's a brand new short track car. They don't think they can fix it. Now back to green.
Here we go, back green.
49 laps in the book, 51 to go as they hook and haul down into turn number 1. Number 3, Earnhardt out in front. Let's see.
Yeah, I bet you. I wonder how the visibility was for the drivers. I bet you it wasn't very good at some times when they were going through the speedy drive and all that. ZZ Richmond's here trying to get a run on Earnhardt.
Richmond, I think, has got a good combination going right now.
Earnhardt's going to have to really drive the wheels off this thing to hold off Richmond, and Waltrip's now trying to join the fray. Yeah, Waltrip got really loose. You could see in that one shot how loose he was off the corner and how much he was fighting the wheel.
Maintaining 5th position for the lead. Earnhardt pressures on him as number 27. Tim Richmond settles down and kicks him in the first turn. Even on a half mile, they
yeah, we need that again.
back straight away. Drawing away. Taking a breath. It is Earnhardt by 2 car lengths. Back comes the 27, Richmond off turn 4, closes it down to 1 car length, bobbles just a little.
It had to been either 86 or 88 because 87 was won. The Talladega races in 87, I think, were won by Davey Allison and Bill Elliott. He was either that or Davey Allison or Dale in 87.
When his tires get hot and he moves up, I think Richard's going to stay on the bottom. He's got a good shot at this race.
Bodine is in 6 cars in the lead lap. Candace in 7th, Terry Labonte is in 8th. Marcus in speed, 9th and 10th. Waltrip moving in. How many times have you seen him in this position and all of a sudden had just another card to play? Late in the going. 354 of 400 laps now complete. 5 car length advantage.
Yeah, he's starting to pull away now, and Waltrip, if he's gonna have to, if he's gonna try to catch Earnhardt, Waltrip needs to get by Richmond soon because we're closing in on our final laps.
I don't know. I can't see exactly what the problem is. He does have some problem getting off that corner.
Will this be his 12th national win for number 3? Earnhardt back in the first turn.
Yeah, Earnhardt was so good on the short tracks in his career. He was a good all-around driver, you know. He won at tracks like Darlington a lot. He won at Bristol a good bit. Talladega, he was phenomenal at Talladega, Daytona. He was pretty decent at Charlotte, too.
Goes for the inside on 27, going into turn number 3. Lap car in front to Chrysler. Off the corner. Number 3 stays and begins to build up a lead. Boy, Earnhardt's getting with the program now. He draws away to a 9-10 car length advantage.
He really is. I'm surprised. Shows you how smart I am.
358 laps are now complete. Who would have believed it? Now here's number 11. Waltrip realizing he's being told on the radio that number 3 is beginning to get some distance on the 27. He wants to dispatch that 27 and go after Dale Earnhardt in the last moments of this race.
If Waltrip's going to win this race, he's got to get by Richmond pretty soon. And he's trying hard.
Around turn number 4. Shadows getting
Yeah.
a little lengthy here now. Advantage, and there's the battle of second.
Let's see here. Mike, do you listen to any of the MRN Classic races, or have you? Mike? I don't know if he's still there or not, but it's fine.
Makes the car go sideways and makes the car pull.
Well, I mean, hey, the last time we watched Richmond race, Mike fell asleep, so that could be a possibility. It is late.
And Butch Lindley has been in the pits. They're going to bring his car back out for the final moments of the race.
Almost, I think we have like 30 laps to go, something like that.
Now another factor begins to appear. 47, Ron Bouchard out of Pittsburgh, Massachusetts, lying 4th, is closing on both Richmond and 27.
There's a bunch of debris and trash on the track. And
Yes, Benny, I talked with Richard Childers, the car owner for
flags
Dale
that,
Earnhardt.
hey, there's some trash on turn 4. You throw the caution. They look at you and think, whoa, you out of your mind. But now you'll have a throw up the bond in front of the straightaway. Red flag.
Has led the most laps and has consistently had one of the top running cars all day.
Kyle Petty in 5th.
Oh, Kyle Petty's now in 5th.
Labonte 8th. Gant is 9th. Blake Speed 10th. Lindley 11th. Schrader 12th. Bobby Hill in 13th. Lenny Pond 14th.
A lot of the drivers in the top 15 are many laps down, so
6 cars
we
lead lap.
have seen to see what the results and statistics are after the race.
Stays at 69 miles an hour on this half-mile track.
Nice indeed.
Stay tuned. For the NBA is next on Superstation WTS.
Oh, the NBA. I think you said it was going to be next on the TNN broadcast.
This time by this 400 lap encounter. There's Waltrip, and now you see the Bouchard, number 47.
Man, Waltrip cannot get by Richmond. Richmond's like, I'm just going to be determined here to hold on to second.
The
I think that's Bouchard in fourth there in the 47 Valvoline car.
Ron Bouchard, who's currently running in fourth.
Yep, there we go.
Up on that second and third place battle. Wayne must not be talking to his driver because Wayne says we can't make a run at him. We've got too much sway bar on the car, a suspension reference.
Too much sway bar on the car. Huh, never heard of that. Main reason you can't catch somebody.
Because push and all, Bouchard has charged right up there and made that a three-car race for second place.
Oh, one car smoking here. It's Elmo Langley.
The number 64 car, Clark Dwyer. Snags the wall at the third turn. Caution.
Oh, Clark Dwyer. I thought that was Elmo Langley. I was tripping. That's Clark Dwyer. Okay, well, we're going to have another yellow here.
33 to go.
33 to go. We got another car.
Last time with 6 cars in the lead lap.
This could make things closer now for the lead, because Earnhardt was pulling away by a good margin there.
Let's see who's going to be the gambler.
But I still don't see. Oh, he's pitting. Richmond's staying out. So Richmond stays out despite not having as good of a car, it seems, on the long run. So well, this is going to be interesting to see how well he does on this restart. Yeah, because they changed left sides earlier.
Car is on pit road. Bodine is there.
Waltrip is changing lefts. Earnhardt is changing rights. Bodine is changing lefts.
Oh, Waltrip may be. No, not quite. That was close. Yeah. That could have been bad. As you see, Labonte was not fully in his pit stall, and Waltrip couldn't get. If Waltrip nowadays, you think maybe that would obviously be a penalty, but the driver that would be stuck would probably get to go out in front of the other car. But Waltrip almost got by Earnhardt there, but he just had nowhere to go.
32 to go.
But Richmond staying out here is going to be an interesting strategy. See if it works.
Benny Parsons, question for you. Isn't there a theory somewhere in the NASCAR driver book that says in a late race situation like this,
I think Mike fell asleep.
Follow the leader? In other words, if one goes in, they all go in?
Well, that's exactly right. That's normally what would happen. The crew chief would tell you, you would ask him going down the backstretch, do you want me to pit? He said, do what the leader does. Well, the leader made a pit stop, but Tim Richmond did.
But how long will those tires stay strong? What, 6 laps, 8 laps?
Not long. I'm afraid not long enough, but you know, they're rolling the dice. But that's what the tire rule does, and that's what we talked about at the top of the show. Strategy. This is a perfect example of it. We have one car that stays on the racetrack, 2 cars that change right side, and 2 cars that change left side.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
At stake. Who's going to take pot? Going to find out very shortly. 370 complete next time by, 30 remaining in the event. Tim Richmond electing not to pit before this record crowd.
Is that your girl?
Golden day in Virginia. Second place man.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Has taken place is Earnhardt. Earnhardt second. Waltrip third. Bodine fourth. Bouchard fifth.
Oh, you are.
In
well, that's good. Well, hopefully she's doing okay.
Next week they have competition just
yeah.
like this.
Do you have work tomorrow morning?
We'll be back with more. The finale.
Well, yeah, I wish we could have been able to do it earlier, to be honest with you, but I didn't get off till 9-ish, so yeah. So you're gonna be tired, but it is what it is. We have like 20-ish to go, I think. Oh, Bouchard spun out on the restart, I think. So they missed the complete restart coming up. They missed the restart, and when they came back, Bouchard spun out. So it looked like Waltrip came back down pit road. It looked like Bouchard came back down pit road.
And didn't even lose a lap.
373 laps complete. Bouchard is pitted back on the track, and still Richmond gambles on winning this race without that.
I really like that car. It's pretty cool.
Out of Ashland, Ohio, leading the event. There you see Kyle Petty running just in front of Bouchard now. Kyle Petty in fifth as they bunch him up and get set on a restart.
Looks like the one to go here.
Inside, Dave Marcus.
All the fans debris on the front of them, beer cans, everything. It looks like Richmond's now, obviously, he's in the lead because he had stayed out. And Bodine's in third, Waltrip's fourth. Terry Labonte's a lap down on the inside lane. Gant's still trapped a lap down.
We just asked Richard Childers, the crew chief for Dale Earnhardt, whether it was smart or dumb that Richmond stayed out on used tires. He said, time will tell. We think it was dumb because faster on
There's Childers.
Face.
25 laps to go. Pace car is coming.
Here we go, back green here. Let's see if it's the final restart.
Number 4. Flag comes on.
Kyle Petty has a right front tire flat. He's in the pits.
Oh, wow, right when they go back to green, Petty has a flat. Jeez. Well, that's going to cost them a lap. Earnhardt's now on the back bumper. Richmond.
On the outside, trying to get that lap. 71 Marcus stays just in front of him. Bodine is third. Waltrip from fourth.
Earnhardt's all over Richmond. He may use the bumper here.
Battle for the lead. Richmond and Earnhardt.
Oh, is Mike back? I thought you fell asleep. As well, he got loose. Now he's going to try the outside.
As he came on. Leaders 27 and 3.
Richmond's staying out on those tires. Seems to have worked so far, but then again, oh, Parsons is around. Oh, into the wall.
And it is the camera car, number 17. Bill Parsons looping.
We got a live in-car shot of a wreck.
At first, we saw Clark Dwyer have come.
Wait, are we still green?
Crew telling you to bring that car around. Change the front end on it a little.
No, we got to be
80 laps complete. 20 to go.
20 laps to go. A lot of wrecks here in the closing laps. He got back going before Richmond and Earnhardt could get by him again.
Number 27, Tim Richmond.
Now, this is what the rule was made for. We have seen in the last few laps what the rule was made for.
We're under yellow because it's. I'm pretty sure we're still under yellow because Richmond and Earnhardt would have passed him by now. Oh, yeah, there's a truck on the track.
That's the reason they did it, because they try to
save about $5,000 cost of a car.
Exactly right.
In 1 year.
Tim Richmond has gambled on staying out there with hot tires. He would.
And there's been a lot of instances here in the closing laps, and Richmond really does need that because I don't know if he'd be able to hold off Earnhardt in the long run, considering he stayed out, and Earnhardt has fresh tires.
Yeah, I agree.
Parsons just lost it on his own. The in-car view looked like he nailed the wall much harder than it looked like from this angle.
Yeah, he just tapped the wall.
Now they tell me he's going to the pits right now.
He is back in. This is a live picture now. We watch car number 17 come back on pit road. Laps 381 of 4.
381, so about 19 to go.
Tires that are a bit more used than others. Stays in first. Earnhardt stays in second. Then a couple of lap cars will drop.
It's been a really interesting race. I mean, there's been the long runs. We've seen, a technical issue. We've seen a good bit in this race. Many different things.
The third place car is number 5 Bodine.
Would I say it's better than the 1992 Richmond race we watched over a year ago? I don't know. But I think it's definitely better to. I don't know. The 2002 Richmond race was really good, but it just had so many wrecks in it. So you don't like this one as much as 92 or 2002?
382 now complete here at the Virginia Fairgrounds. From the Skoll helicopter, these pictures.
Rob Bouchard, top 5.
When they combine this time,
Still haven't gone back green yet. Looks like we'll probably do that this time. As the lap cars were making their formation on the inside right now. Want to go somewhere?
First since North Wilkesboro last year. Immediately following the conclusion race, we're going direct to the NBA for the Pacer-Celtics game, but stay with us, for at halftime, we'll bring you the winner's interview. Winner's interview at halftime of the NBA game.
So the winners
Race
interview, this
with a
was
period
going to be
under
filmed
red
during the
taken
halftime of the
far longer
Pacers
period than had been expected. You know you want to see the winner's interview,
That's
so it will be
interesting.
shown in the halftime of the NBA game today. It's been a long afternoon, but it's been an exciting race. It looks like we're building to a sensational finish. Coming around, pace
It's
car is
sensational.
about to come in. Turn it loose. Tim Richmond making the big
He
gamble.
tried to
Three
catch
tires,
Earnhardt
stays out in
napping
front.
on
There's the
the
green
restart.
flag. And as we go racing,
Yeah.
Earnhardt comes
Oh,
after
but
him and
Earnhardt
immediately
didn't
dives
fall
to the
for it, and there you
inside.
go. And good cars
Earnhardt taking a
out.
place for
One.
first place at turn
Oh,
number
there
one.
you
It
go.
is
See, hard
Earnhardt
drive.
right into it, down to the bottom. And Dale Earnhardt taking advantage of those tires.
Well, Earnhardt was
Running
not fooled by
outside.
that
Jeff
jump the
Bodine
gun by
pulls up and
Richmond,
goes
and he
into
was just able
turn
to
number
bang his way
3
by
in
him.
second
Bodine
position.
is
Wild racing
starting
further
to
back in the
chaotic
pack.
for third.
I think Richmond has a flat tire.
Richmond has a flat.
Matter of fact, I'm sure he's got some kind of
Wow.
Tim Richmond
This is interesting.
getting nailed as he went down into
Turn,
number
change the
one as
turn.
Earnhardt went
Wow, the
through. Richmond
turntables, you
stays
know.
high. Here's Waltrip track further back. He's behind Marcus. Laps running down. The leader is
Wow, look how far
in
1 and 2
second
now
spot,
are ahead of
Bodine.
everyone else.
And it could be decided between these two. 387 complete. Back onto pit road. Phil
Down to
Larson.
12 to go.
Richmond stays on the track. Back straightaway.
Yeah, Richmond's probably going to have to pit.
Just threw that car onto the bottom of the racetrack. Leaned on Richmond and went out in front.
That was a bold move by Earnhardt, but he made it work.
Bodine in second, 2
Yeah.
car lengths back. Here they are at turn number 1. Next time by, there'll be 10 laps to go. There's Tim Richmond.
He's way off.
I don't know if he has a flat, but he definitely looks very loose, and the car's out of balance.
Man who would let it, Bobby Allison, taking a lap back from him.
The crew looks like they're getting ready on pit road. I would expect him to come.
Yeah, he's
pit.
coming in.
Yes, he's
Richmond is
coming.
pitting.
He's coming down pit road.
Here is Glenn Jarrett on pit road.
Wow.
Okay, Tim Richmond is in the pits now for a stop. You can see he does have a flat tire.
It was just very odd there. He went through like 4 or 5 pit stalls before his, and there's another car and crew. Oh no! He almost got that tangled and about hit his crew member. Yeah, he's gunning it back out there because he's already lost a lap, maybe 2.
Bodine, who has waited out the afternoon, is now within striking distance. This time by 392 laps complete, 8 laps to go.
8 to go. Can Bodine catch his rival Dale Earnhardt?
He's got the freshest tires out there, and he's not that far back.
Well, he's 10 car lengths back. And with
Well, this was like early rivalry. They hadn't gone like full on rivalry yet.
on his half mile. Here they are off turn number 4. Bodine likes this size track. See what he's going to do with it. He may be
Well, Bodine seems to have a faster car than he did earlier. Maybe he was saving it up a little bit.
Here he is, number 5, Bodine.
Oh, he's gaining on him.
Go in to take number 3. Maybe an inside
This could be close finish here.
the outside. Here they are off turn number 4.
Bodine is getting the car just a little bit out of shape, getting off the fourth corner. The car.
Benny, you're right.
Just Darrell Waltrip in third. He's been solidly in the top 5 most of the race.
Behind right now, Ken.
There will be 5 laps remaining. This time by Waltrip. Nose is down into turn number 3.
Y'all think Bodine catches him or not?
2 liters, but it's a long way to go to first overtake and then overhaul.
Anybody can win this thing right now. There's 3 cars, and either of them could win it.
Back in turn number 1 through 2. Bodine looks like he can hold a tighter line off the first and second turn.
Earnhardt's really loose off of 1 and 2, but he seems to have better straightaway speed.
4 laps to go. This time by Earnhardt stays first.
3-car battle for the win at Richmond.
He almost. He tried it. He started to go inside. The advantage that Earnhardt's got right now is that when Walter gets up there, hopefully he will start racing with Bodine and give him some leeway.
Here they are off turn number 4. And now it is show and tell. Into the first turn, before a packed house who's seen a great race. Earnhardt trying to hold on for the victory. 398 complete this time.
Yeah.
Number 90 tags the wall up in turn number 3.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
No caution on the track.
Oh, a car spun out, I think.
Schrader tagged the wall and he pulls on pit road. The leaders go back into the first and second turn.
I think he said Schrader spun out.
And it's over $262,000.
Oh, he about hit the wall.
Number 3, Dale Earnhardt stays in front. Here he is coming around.
He's really fine that wall.
Oh.
Number 11, Waltrip.
One lap to go. Final lap.
As they go to the first turn, Waltrip onto Bodine.
Well, Earnhardt, despite the early damage, he looked a good bit early in the race, and he's able to get back up in front there towards the end. He's going to get the win here.
Number 4 to win the Richmond 400. It will be, for the first time in his racing career, Dale
Earnhardt's first win at the track, first win of the season for him. Well, Bodine got second, and you see Waltrip in third. I guess now, before we get into the statistics and race results, I'll start with Mike. Mike, what was your overall thoughts on the race, and what would you give it on a scale from 1 to 10?
Well, Sean becomes the first one of us, I believe, to get his race prediction correct. So, good job, Paul. Overall, the race was okay. There were some moments of excitement. We saw some big crashes, specifically 2 cars getting into that guardrail. But otherwise, the race was It was not my favorite race, but it certainly wasn't terrible. I'll probably give it a 6.5 out of 10.
For me, I'm not going to be biased because Earnhardt won, but for me, I will probably, with a good amount of action, especially near the final 10 laps, final 20 laps, I'll say. It was really good, really good. I'm trying to find a good word besides really good, but yeah, it was just a lot of nothing I didn't see any dirty racing, so that's great, especially for short tracks and stuff. No, it was not bad, but at the same time, it was not too exciting, but I enjoyed it. I'd like to see something like that on a modern day stance, but for me, I would rate this track, or I would rate this race a 7.5.
Solid. Gotcha. Well, for me, I thought that the racing was pretty solid. Wasn't as many passes for the lead. Mainly, the passes for the lead were because of pit stops and cautions. But, we saw different cars were strong early in the race than they were at the end. We saw guys come back from some interesting moments where they had to pit and work their way back up. We saw Earnhardt have to work his way back up a couple times. Same thing with Darrell Waltrip. Jeff Bodine there seemed to have a faster car at the end. Tim Richmond really could have had that race won, but he stayed out, and it cost him in the long run on those tires. We saw tires were a huge issue in this race. The Goodyear tires, we saw guys like Neil Bonnet lose the tire, and Bonnet went into the guardrail. We saw Bill Elliott also hit the guardrail because of the tire issue. Kyle Petty was another driver that had a tire go down. So tires were definitely an issue in this race, but I thought it was really solid. Personally, I would give it a 7.5 out of 10. Wasn't the best Richmond race I've seen, but definitely really good classic one at the Fairgrounds. So driver of the race, in my opinion, would be kind of hard to say, but Earnhardt was really bold in this race. We saw how hard he worked to get that win. So the driver of the race for me would definitely be Dale Earnhardt. Another driver that really caught my eye was Ron Bouchard. He was pretty solid throughout the entire race. What about y'all?
Terry Labonte drove well with his damage, even though he was some laps down. But personally, I think I got to give it to Earnhardt.
My main would be Dale, but a close runner-up to me would be Neil Bonnet, who did a good amount of lap leading until his unfortunate tire cut.
Yeah.
But he was doing pretty. He was given a substantial amount of places between the leader and second place, which is really nice to see. I think he is a very not looked upon racer when it comes to his teammate Darrell Waltrip back in the mid '80s when he was racing for June Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, the driver of this race is going to have to be Earnhardt.
Yeah, you know, Bonnet, he's definitely a driver that should be in the Hall of Fame. I still don't know why he's not.
He's on the ballot. He was on the ballot.
Yeah.
I know he was on the ballot for a couple times.
Yeah, he still should be in there, though. I mean, looking at his stats. But, you know, Mike brought up a great point with Terry Labonte. Labonte was in that wreck with Ricky Rudd and Richard Petty, and he was able to still run with that damage and get a top 10. So now let's go ahead and look at the race. 3 hours, 11 minutes, average speed 67 miles per hour, pulse speed was 95. There's 10 cautions in the race. Only 9 lead changes. I thought there was probably like 13 or so, but only 9. So some of the lap leaders, Dale Earnhardt led 95, Darrell Waltrip led 110. 103 were led by Tim Richmond. I didn't realize Tim Richmond led 103 laps. That's more than I thought. You know, Neil Bonnet led 84. Jeff Bodine didn't lead a single lap, which I thought he did. I thought Gant led more. Gant only led 1. Bobby Allison led 7, and he ended up finishing 16th, minus 21 laps down. I thought he was down more than that after he had that mechanical issue. Some other notable drivers to mention here. Dave Marcus finished 8th. Only a lap down. I thought Marcus was lapped more than that. He finished ahead of Tim Richmond, who finished 9th. Lake Speed got 10th. Bobby Hillin Jr. 11th. And Ronnie Thomas, who we saw get lapped a couple times, he finished 12th in this race, minus 11 laps down. Phil Parsons, we saw him spin out at one point. He finished 20 laps down in 15th. And J.D. McDuffie was 20th. But, yeah, quite an interesting race to say the least. The point standings after this race, Darrell Waltrip was in the points lead by 24 over Jeffrey Bodine. Lake Speed was currently 3rd in points after this race. Bill Elliott 4th. Bobby Hillin Jr. 5th. Dale Earnhardt 8th in points. Ken Schrader 6th. Gant 7th. Very interesting. Another thing too, Lenny Pond was running 14th in points after this race. So definitely a good one. Appreciate everyone for tuning into this video. Thank y'all so much for watching. If you haven't yet, make sure to like and subscribe. Go follow Sean and Mike. Their links are in the description below. Is there anything else y'all want to add before we end off the video?
No. Peace out, everybody. Appreciate coming on and hope to see some interesting things to continue throughout the rest of this season.
Definitely. We hope Richmond will be better this weekend. But anyways, thank you so much for watching and have a good night. Peace.